Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, I slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP from the 313. And by my side is my special co-host, Mr. Jance from Jance Sports, Mr. Jarek from Jance Sports, that is. Happy Friday to you, Mr. Jarek, and happy Friday to all of Bill's Mafia out there rocking with us tonight. Man, are you ready for the dreaded long offseason, extended part of the offseason that is dreadful and boring, and this is gonna be rough, fellas. Or ladies and gents, we're just gonna have to be throwing some content out there for y'all that's gonna be all over the map. But y'all gonna enjoy it. I know y'all gonna enjoy it. Robert, good evening, Tommy and Mikey. Well, actually, Mikey is away for a little bit. He has something going on with his electric or something like that, where he's in California. I have no idea what's going on. But anyways, Mikey will be back next week. But special co-host Jarek in the building. So Jarek, welcome once again. I appreciate you riding with me tonight, man. First, I gotta ask something non-related, non-Bills related, and non-sports related. So, bro, my lawn grew in 2 weeks sky high. My regular lawn guy, MIA, right? MIA, Jarek. And I don't know about you in Buffalo, but code enforcement out here, pretty picky. Gave me my, better cut your grass notice or else. And so found a guy online, and he on Marketplace. I'm sure you know what that is. And he's like, promoted $30. So I call him. I'm like, hey, I'm tight with money, but I got $30. I need this cut. So he's like, I got you, man. I got you. I talked to him on the phone. So he comes out today. I'm out at the grocery store, and I call him like, yo, man, I'm on my way home. I got your $30 or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna need an extra 10, man. Cut the back. And I said, bro, you told me 30. All I got is 30. That's what I got for you. And I get home, and nobody's here. The front lawn is cut. The back ain't cut. So I called him straight to voicemail. Call him again, straight to voicemail, message him. No reply back. What do you think, Jarek? Should I have paid him the extra 10, or am I wrong here?
If he didn't do the job, then no. I mean, hell no. I'm paying $30.
But why ghost? Why block me? Why would you go through the trouble of cutting the front grass?
No, it doesn't make any sense.
I have your money. I'm coming home with your money. I'm like, dude, I'm 5 minutes away, right? And he's like, he came with the extra 10, which, mind you, Jarek, I had talked to him on the phone prior to him coming here, and I'm like, look, my regular long guy is MIA. I need somebody reliable. Can we work something out? If you come every 2 weeks, I'll give you this amount. He's like, yeah. So he sounded cool. Everything was fine. But I think once he got here, realized how long the grass was, I think everything changed, right? But that's not my problem. Like, you know what I mean? Like you told me one thing, you can't change, you can't switch it up on me. And I just wanted your opinion on that. And chat, what do you think? Am I in the wrong here? Am I being like a cheapo? Should I have said, yeah, I got you on an extra 10, I'll go get it? Because I feel like he darted out of here.
That's why I keep guys get the electric lawns. They're like $70.
Right.
Really easy. You know, all you need to do is just get your battery charges and just there you go. This is why we stop.
Hey, bro, he left.
Services are dying. This is why it's a dying breed, guys. This is why.
Not only that, one thing I can't stand, like if you're gonna do something, at least do it right. So there's patches of grass in certain areas, whatever. Once again, I'm not even that picky, but by the front of the house, there's huge weeds and stuff that he just totally abandoned. And it looks so bad, bro. So I just don't. So you know what? I have the 30 still. So I don't even know. Okay, I guess he's like. I'm assuming, Jarek. He just said, "F this guy. I'm going to take the L." I cut his front grass. Right? Is that what's happening here?
No, he didn't do his job. It's just laziness. This is why lawn services are dead, people. This is why.
Yeah, you see, guys, misinformation. Like, don't promote some awesome deal and then don't live up to your promotion. I'm just saying, like, if we came on here and promoted something and then we didn't give it to you, you'd be like, well, these guys are full of shit. So, anyways, I know that wasn't Buffalo Bills talk. I apologize, but I had to ask, like, am I in the wrong here? I don't feel like I am. Jarek says I'm not. So, anyways, guys, I do have a poll. On the YouTube. Drums or flats? So I'm going to ask you, Jarek, since obviously you're on here, you can't do the poll. Drums or flats?
I do drums. I'm a drum guy.
Me too, right? Flats they're just so annoying.
Hard, like you got especially, man, like you got the two bones and there's the meat between them. Well, you know, it's like you can't. Man, come on, man. It's just like it's
right.
It's just hard to get the full.
Yes, exactly. You gotta like fight for a little bit of chicken.
You gotta fight, exactly. Like, come on, like you got the drumstick. It's gone. Like it's
exactly gone. Come on, baby. You can hold it easier. It's gone. I'm with you, dude. I'm a drum guy all the way. Flats, I'll eat them. Don't get me wrong. But if I had a choice, if they said, "Yo, we can," you know what's funny too? I noticed very rare. Have you ever gone to a place where they just say, "What would you like?" Like it's always mixed, right? Like it's very rare they give you an option of just say, "Do you want only drums, only flats?" No, like, is there places by you that do that?
No, you got to say it first time you get there. You got to tell them what you want. Otherwise,
straight up,
they're gonna do whatever they want to do.
Spin says, "Flats, take one bite." See, I just don't like the struggle. Got to get the little piece of chicken that's left on the bone, or like it's annoying. I'll eat both. I don't care, but I prefer drums. Spin calling me says I'm scamming the lawnmower guy. I didn't scam him. The dude left. Matter of fact, he left my garbage can in the middle of my driveway. So I had to get out of the car, move the garbage can. People, bro, I'd even make him sweep up the grass. Nothing. I just cut the fucking grass. Anyways, Scott says it's all technique. Flats all the way. Wow. Look at Jarek, me and you so far are the only two that's saying drums, crazy, man.
People are crazy.
You heard Jarek. Y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy. And I do have to ask you, and I know you know what's funny on X? I noticed some people are getting, I don't know if it's annoyed or they're getting like, who gives a shit about it anymore when the classic question is asked: blue cheese or ranch? They do it every year to the Bills rookies. You know this. I'm sure you've seen this.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. It's quirky because not every person has even tried blue cheese. There's some people, it depends on where you live or where we got raised. Some people think it looks gross or whatever. Like, I love blue cheese. I blue cheese on everything. But some people don't even like anything on their wings. So what curious about you. What do you like with your wings? Are you just, hey, I just like the wings with nothing, or you like blue cheese?
If it's spicy, I gotta go with blue cheese. If it's not, though, then I mean, to me, like I said, if this is, that's what I'm saying. I don't go for like the spice, like any spice hot. That's not. Listen, I'm not unless I'm in, unless I'm in a country where I have no choice but to eat, like Thailand or nothing to eat but spicy food. Then I got no choice. But I tend to like spiciness. So if it's like regular barbecue stuff like that, or just like anything sweet, I just eat it plain. But
just straight up
blue cheese, ranch is just sour. It just tastes sour.
Yeah, dude. I'm not like, the only time I'm cool with ranch is like Taco Bell has their like different ranch,
Yeah, that's the only
but it's
not a salad.
Exactly. Or like not even a salad. I still got to go blue cheese, but like maybe like on a chicken wrap, because most chicken wraps come with some kind of ranch. Okay, like it's not killing it. But I'm with you on the spicy, bro. I don't know how people be eating like super spicy things in general. Like I don't understand how you can enjoy the food if all you're getting is the burn. Like I don't get it. Like, guys, people in the chat, explain to me, please. Like, honestly, like it's honest, it's a real honest question. If you're a person that likes spicy, like really spicy foods, why? Like, I'm just curious why, because there's no way you can legit taste the chicken or the beef, whatever you're putting that spicy shit on. There's no way. So tell me why you guys enjoy that kick that's burning your mouth. I'm just curious. Scott Blakely, blue cheese has to be correct type. Maria's is great. If we have pizza and wings, pizza crust dipped in blue cheese is amazing. Okay, so I want to talk to this real quick. And boy, by the way, we have not talked about the Buffalo Bills yet, and we are almost 15 minutes into the podcast. This is great. So here's the deal. Out here, people, and I live in Detroit, Jarek. People out here love ranch, like love it. They dip pizza in ranch. Is that not the most disgusting thing you've ever heard?
I'm not a fan of it, man.
Who does that? I won't even do blue cheese with pizza, but
I don't get my pizza in nothing, dude. I just eat it.
No, right?
It got sauce already in the pizza. Why would you add extra sauce when you already have sauce in the pizza? Like,
that has nothing to do with pizza, bro. Like salad dressing, folks, should not be on a pizza. Like, the only thing I've ever dipped in pizza, I'll be honest with you, is like sauce, because I do like sauce. Sometimes I'll get an extra side of sauce, dip it in there or put it on top. Or if you ever got Papa John's, they have the butter garlic that comes with it, and I'll dip it once in a while on that. But I like my pizza straight up. I don't get the whole ranch. That's disgusting, and I would definitely not do blue cheese on pizza either. Like, I love blue cheese. But anyways, Spin says it's hard to find spicy wings. I don't know. I've had some. Scott says ranch sucks. It does. I'm not that big of a fan. Hot wings, best flavor. See, why though? Why, Spin? I'm just curious. Like, why? I don't understand why. Like, if it's, can you still taste the chicken with something that spicy? Also, too, I can't eat anything even mild spice with like pizza. It takes away from the pizza. Like, I can't even do that either. So. I don't have a problem with dipping the pizza crust. Yeah, that's different, but not in ranch or blue cheese. Ugh. Okay. Scott Blake, Tommy, pick up some piri. It's amazing hot sauce. Nope, I'm good. I don't want hot sauce. I'll be honest. I don't even know the last time I had hot sauce in my fridge. Like, when's the last time you ever had hot sauce in your fridge? Like, maybe like a friend brought it over or something. Jared? Like, you know what I mean? Like Tabasco sauce.
Yeah,
I've never.
I have a hot sauce in my cabinet that I've never opened. It's been there for like 4 years, and I've never opened it. I just bought it just for like a party. Like,
so expiration's probably pretty old, 4 years.
Yeah.
Spin says the flavor. Okay, the flavor, but what about the flavor of the chicken or whatever you're putting it on? What about, aren't you taking away from that? Like, you know, the whole thing about A1. Do you like A1 sauce? Like A1 on steak? Okay. I love A1 sauce. But if I go to a good steak restaurant, I don't need it, right? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. And I've heard a lot of places, like high-end places, they don't even give you. They don't even offer it because it's like a, you know, it's almost like a diss to the steak, to the chef, right? So I like, you know, because you're taking away from the taste. So for me, the spicy shit's taking away. You're taking away from the chicken or whatever you're putting it on. So I don't get it. What's up, Tommy? Long time. No scene. Walking. Oh, what's going on, Jacob, man? How's everything going on with you, man? Glad to see you. Spin. Usually I order the hottest wings a place got. The hot wings are more like a mild spice. Damn. Well, then you just, hey, it is what it is. Some people can take the heat. I can't. Scott Blakely outside Buffalo. Hot wings are medium at best. See, I like medium. Yeah, like medium. I'm fine with me. I can push medium. I only put salt and pepper on steaks. There we go, Spin. See, that's kind of my point because you want to taste the steak. I'm an A1 fan, Tommy. Yeah, I do like A1. I ain't gonna lie. A1 is pretty damn good. Well, barbecue sauce takes away the taste of the chicken as well. It depends. How much are you smothering it? Not really. Like, it depends. You know what I mean? And it's also not burning your mouth where you can't taste the product. I don't know. And look, once again, BG Everett says medium is good. I'm with you. Medium. I'm good with medium. Medium, I'm all good for, man. But anyways, that was a great topic. Start of the show. Derek talked about lawn mowing. Talked about blue cheese. We talked about hot wings or mild wings. So this is what you get in the off season when there's not too much to talk about. But I did come up with some stuff tonight, Jarek. Some interesting stuff. So first, let's get some takeaways, and I'll go ahead and start this up real quick. Once again, we will shout out to Bills Wire for creating this article. All right, 6 takeaways from the Bills 2025 schedule release. All right, it's first takeaway. It's an MVP start to the season, Jarek. It says Buffalo will host the Baltimore Ravens in week 1 on Sunday Night Football as the NFL marquee game to open the season. The previous 2 NFL MVPs face off in prime time. Both the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, and Bills' Josh Allen have been electrifying over the past few seasons, easily being the most important pieces to the respective team's success. The NFL made certain to get them on display from the get-go. How do you feel about that, man?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Bills are going to be favored in every game so far, so I think that from that personal aspect, I can understand why they said it. I mean, like, you know, which is crazy to me. I mean, the Bills are favored to go 17-0 with that schedule, which is, you know, or 18-0 or whatever you want to call it. It's crazy, but yeah, listen, Josh Allen, listen, he's expected to be a lot better, and you know, we'll see if last year was an anomaly or because last year, I mean, you know, even though Ravens fans will argue to the death that Lamar Jackson was the MVP and rightfully so, but you know, Josh Allen put up some like amazing generational statistics in terms of advanced metrics goes. Our touchdown to turnover ratio was insane. It's like our in terms of per possession to the turnover ratio was insane. It was the best that we've ever had. Can you continue it is the question. So,
right.
You know, we'll see what happens. I mean, I think Josh Allen, could have a good start, but listen, a lot of our toughest games are at home. You look at the earliest part of the season. I mean, it looks like we could go at least 6-1 potentially, and so we'll see what happens, man. But yeah, I mean, Josh Allen could repeat if everything goes right. Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting, man. To start because I'm gonna tell you, man, the NFL did us right. They definitely did us right by this schedule and the way it starts. You know, being at home, 4 out of the 5 games, something like that, 3 out of 4. can't really ask for better. Ugo coming in, adobo on my steaks, please. Garlic parm on my flats. I like adobo. I do. Not on everything, but yeah, not bad. Steak, like I said, it depends where you get it. Like, if you're cooking at home, yeah, I get it. You add your own, spices. But if you're going to a nice restaurant or whatever, I don't need anything. Like, I trust the cook. I've had, they do what they do. But if I go to like a whatever place, give me that A1 sauce. Give me extra A1 to put on that thing. Who cares? Let's talk football, says Kevin. Kevin was over on my buddy's post-podium podcast. I was watching them earlier, and I always be messing around on their channel in the chat. And Kevin was like, I forget what I talked. Oh, because I brung up the blue cheese thing. Kevin's like, we're talking football here, man. Dude. Tommy got out of scam the lawnmower. Yeah, hey, it's my 30 now. Kevin, let's analyze the defense. That's our weakness the past 5 years. Is McDermott really a good defensive coach? I'll be honest with you. I think he's okay. I think the whole, whenever I hear, when we're playing games and whoever's doing the commenting, the commentators, when they're like, oh, McDermott, is great defensive coach, defensive, guru, whatever, they put him up there. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, why? What makes him so great? Like, I have not seen anything so great. I think his defense has been okay. I think it's been good at times, but it's never been great. Am I wrong? Am I wrong there, Jared? Like, has it been ever great? Like, have you ever gone into a season or whatever, just gone into games where you're like, I'm really confident that this defense is going to do their job today?
2019.
2019?
Yeah, 29. Because Josh Allen was okay. We got Josh Allen looked like Tyrod Taylor, kept checking the ball down too many times. But yeah, 2019, we don't make the playoffs without that defense. I will still argue that yes, the 22 or 23 year looked really, really good the first 40 games until Daquan Jones got hurt. I think that's ultimately what Sean McDermott's defense wanted to look like when you had so much position flexibility. You finally had your one tech that was disruptive, and that made Ed Oliver better. That made Rousseau better. That made Von Miller get the sacks. 2019, we had, Jerry Hughes was like a 5-6 sack guy, but he was getting a lot of pressures. You had Trent Murphy.
Yeah.
We had Corey Lugitt was on that defense. But 2019 year, we were fourth in the league in defense. If our offense was just top 15, that would have been the number one defense in the NFL. Anyway, it'd be close. That defense was special. It was a special defense. Red zone wise, I think we only allowed 3 touchdowns inside the 5. I was confident that if our offense can just generate, if our offense got over 24 points, we were going to win that year. Any game we were 24 points, our defense, we had a lot of 13, 16, barely winning games because our defense were getting turnovers, we actually
healthy.
Yeah. Right, Poyer, Hyde, and believe it or not, Trey White. That was the only playoff game that he played. The only playoff game that he was fully 100% healthy was that 2019 year, or any number one corner for that instance. It was that year, ironically, where we should have beat the Texans because again we were up 16-0. We sacked Deshaun Watson.
That was so bad. That was so.
And then our offense. People want to blame the defense, bro. Listen, the offense was a disaster. The second half, the offense was a complete disaster.
I'm with you.
We could have won 13. If our offense was just average, if our offense was just above average that year, we win 13 games, and we might. I don't know if we would have beat Kansas City, but I will say this: we still probably would have lost to Kansas City. I will say this though, in terms of playoff points that year, we would have held them to the low. They were not going to score 30 points in that defense. Not in 2019.
I'm with you. I just think. Unfortunately, Josh was super young. First year in the playoffs. You know what I mean? He was trying to do a little bit too much. The overhype, kind of Josh Allen, doing way too much, right? And the second half, the offense didn't do anything, and the defense just, unfortunately, they did the best they could for as long as they could. I'm with you. I think 2019 was a good defense, But I still, man,
we had teams play Josh cover 0 all the damn time because it wasn't the fact that we couldn't get separators because we did. We had John Brown, we had Cole Beasley, we had separators. The problem was that Josh Allen just he wasn't
ready. Wasn't ready. The moment was too big.
Pre-snap,
I'm with you.
Terrible.
I'm with you. Kevin says he's good against meh quarterbacks. I agree. I think Sean McDermott's defense. I'm with you. They look really good against subpar teams. Let's say, right, going against the Clevelands of the world or whatever teams that are just quarterbacks. They got a quarterback carousel going on, right? They got issues. We're good against those type of teams. But that's my point. We get into the playoffs. You're not playing those types of teams. You're playing the best teams that, right? 10-win teams for the most part, right? And that's where the defense, it shows that it's not as good as what people may think it is. And last year, it definitely wasn't. The turnovers were great, but outside of that, it was not good. We did. That's no surprise. I'm with you.
We knew that the offense had to carry the defense. We knew that this was
absolutely
the year because you didn't have talent. But that's the problem. I don't think Sean McDermott's a bad coach. I think he's a really, really good defensive coach, if not a great defensive coach. The problem is the personnel. And this is where I question both McDermott and Bean at because McDermott, we've seen him with the Carolina Panthers. We know the type of defense that he can provide, not just from a turnover ratio, not just from a yard perspective, but from a talent perspective. They can get after the quarterback. They were getting seasons with the Panthers. Why? Because you had Star Lotulelei. I forgot the other, they had a 3-tech. I forgot the name, but he was like an annual 9 to 10 sack guy. You had really good edge rushers on the outside.
Yeah.
You had Thomas Davis, who was that Michael Hoyt, kind of like that Michael Hoyt hybrid. You had Luke Kuechly. You had really, really good secondary play in the back end of the secondary. We know what a fully fledged McDermott defense, what that looks like. We've seen glimpses of what that could potentially look like, but the problem is talent. We have had a lack of talent in certain areas, which has costed this team big. I mean, the years where the secondary looks great. You got Poyer. You got great safety play. You have Tre'Davious White, who's number 1, but who's your number 2 guy? Undrafted free agents or just kind of guys that
older veterans.
Veterans. Why aren't we addressing the number? Why did it take us all these years to finally address Kaiir Elam being the guy? And even then, we forced it. Kaiir Elam should never came to us anyway because from a schematic standpoint, he didn't make sense. He didn't fit what.
I agree. I'm with you there. So here's the deal. Here's the deal with the defense. Overall, Sean McDermott is a defense. Obviously, we all know this defensive-minded head coach. He was a defensive coordinator for, started with Philly, went to Carolina. He got fired in Philly. I mean, listen, the reason why he got fired in Philly, he was under, I forget the guy's name. He was a very aggressive defensive coordinator. He was there forever. I'm sorry if I forgot his name. If you guys in the chat, if you want to say his name, I'm sure Spen has it. But he was there forever, and McDermott was like Johnson. Thank you, Johnson. He was there underneath him, right? And when he left, McDermott took over. McDermott, what happened in Philly with him? He was too aggressive, and he was trying to kind of piggyback off Johnson's style, and it kind of blew up on him. It blew up in his face, right? Philly wanted up firing him. He went to Carolina, and what he did good in Carolina is he had those linebackers. Yeah, really special linebackers. And he still was aggressive, but he knew how to balance it better. And that's why the Carolina defense was pretty good. And I feel like when he came here, he's trying to emulate that. But like you said, the talent,
it didn't match. It
didn't match. And it
didn't match.
Right.
It's like they were fit.
Exactly.
There was only so much you can do with the talent. That's the fact that we never drafted a 1-tech until this year. And even then, we drafted a 1-tech in the 4th round is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
No, I'm with you.
What Carolina's defense looks like when they drafted a first round draft pick in prime Star Lotulelei. What he was able to contribute to that defense. who makes the decisions? This is what I wonder. How much input does McDermott have into what he wants? Because like someone said earlier, McDermott wasn't the general manager. He wasn't even the head coach. It was what's his name? Ron? It was Ron Rivera, and then I forgot who their GM was.
Riverboat Ron, right?
They provided the talent for McDermott to work with, right? So I wonder McDermott as like a co-GM or Brandon Beane, how good are they actually are in terms of finding what they need, not just getting good talent, because they can get good talent and they can develop average to good talent to be good players, but in terms of developing great players, all pro caliber players.
I'm with you.
That's what we're lacking. That is what's stopping us from going over the hump and getting to the championship. The Eagles have done it. The Chiefs have done it. The Buccaneers done it. We can't do it. The Bengals, like people call them outliers because statistically they weren't as good as Buffalo or good. But look at Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader at One Tech, how he was able to provide from a run step. Mm-hmm. The linebackers were solid. Yeah, Jesse Bates in the back end of their secondary, they got pieces, impactful pieces that were able to elevate that defense. Come playoff time, because compared to us, we didn't have the impactful guys compared to Cincinnati had in the playoffs, and that's what we're lacking. We're missing those great players.
I'm with you. Dude. I feel like, one side of me feels like, damn. When I look at the defense, I'm like, okay, McDermott, we got some good pieces here, right? If we date it back to 2017, you got to give props to him, taking a chance on Poyer and Hyde, right? Poyer, was coming off the injuries from, I think, Cleveland. And who knows how that was going to work. I was like, when they signed him, I was like, whatever. It wasn't that a big signing that we were all like, oh, Hyde and Poyer, let's be real. I think they became much better players in this Buffalo Bills McDermott defense. They got their names here, right? Hyde was good in Green Bay, but he wasn't like Hyde in Buffalo, right? And Poyer was never anything really. He was okay, but he became that dog when he came here, and they just kind of gelled together, and they were the best duo for a long time, in my opinion. And then you got players, like I said, we have good pieces like Rousseau, Trey White. And Trey White was an all-pro, right, for a while up until he got the injury. But I think as the seasons went on, past 2019-20, we kind of just started.
We didn't prepare.
Like you said, we didn't really, we didn't prepare. We didn't try to get youth. We kept picking out old aging vets, and we didn't really it was almost like run it back. We're good. We're just going to add this little 1-year guy, aging guy. And then they took a flyer on Von Miller, which I was all up for. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, terrible. I was cool with it. I understood why, right? And really it was a roll of the dice by Beane, and I get it. But those can backfire. And unfortunately, he got hurt. And that's why it backfired. If he doesn't get hurt, I don't feel like that's a bad signing at all. I feel like Von Miller probably would have had 10 sacks that first year with us. So, and nobody would have said, oh, terrible sign. It is what it is, guys. But to your point, we didn't really draft young. We kind of just kept putting Band-Aids on the defensive line year after year. And we never had impactful guys. We still don't have a 10-sack guy for since Jerry Hughes. I don't even remember the last 10-sack. It's been, I'm sorry. Who was the last 10-sack guy? There was a 10-sack guy recently, right?
Defensive tackle.
It was, I'm sorry, Leonard Floyd. It was Floyd, right? No, it's Floyd, our last guy. I think he had 10 sacks, didn't he?
Alexander.
You sure? I thought Floyd had 10 sacks. I thought he 10.5. I could be wrong, but I thought he started hot and then cooled down at the end. Guys in the chat, let me know because I'm pretty sure he was our last 10 sack guy. 10 sack guy.
Jerry Hughes or Von Miller?
No, Leonard Floyd. I think was our last 10.
Floyd never. I don't think Floyd got it. Let me check.
Floyd was the last, says Kevin. I think he had 10. Okay. I think he had 10 and a half. I think he had 10 and a half on the.
He must have barely got it.
He did. Yeah. I think remember he started hot. He was like getting a sack almost every game to start, and then he cooled down later in the season.
You know why? Because we had a one tech. That's why. Like they all went hot. Like Von.
10 and a half. Yep.
10 and a half. Okay. Yep. There it is. Like Von was getting sacks. Rousseau had like the crazy 6 sack sort of stretch. And
right.
Oliver was getting sacks.
Rousseau even had a little stretch. Remember that? I think it was was it last year? He started with 3 or something like that.
Yeah, 6.
You know, quick, right? So it's just once again, I like our defense. It's just like you said. I'm with you. We have a lot of good players. We just don't have a lot of, impactful players. It's true, but what I do like what they did this year is they finally went youth, right? They understand that now, finally, you got to start drafting some talent, young talent. You got to start building up that defensive line, and I do like what they're doing, but once again, it's early. We'll see how these players develop.
They're gonna do
yes.
You know why? Just real quick is because
go ahead.
The type of style of players that they were, I think that they were trying to look for this year. It's in this year's draft. It's early, so we never know what can happen. But like Sony Styles, you guys may not know who that name is from Ohio State. Listen, they talked about it in the embedded when they were talking about athletes. Styles' name was brought up for a reason. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. He's a safety converted to a linebacker, freak athlete that reminds them a lot of Tremaine Edmonds. Isaiah Glasker's in that Tremaine Edmonds mold. The Barham kid from Michigan's in that Tremaine Edmonds. Like it's like linebacker next year is going to be stoked with it. Defensive tackles is still going to be pretty good. I think Daryl Jackson, that's a player that they love. Florida State, they were there a lot. Big reason why was Joshua Farmer, but another guy that they even love more was Daryl Jackson, 6'6", 330 with 35-inch arms. He's a more natural one tech than Deion Walker, but they're moving in a direction where they say, you know what? Instead of just getting like these average prospects that we can develop, and maybe one of them can end up being a Christian Benford. We'll just take the 6'6". Well, like we got to start taking athletic freak players. Just take the freak players and just stack them up, because that's what the Eagles did. That's what the Buccaneers did during their Super Bowl run. The Chiefs, I mean, they didn't really do it, but the Chiefs are. I mean, you had they had their players already established, their foundational players, great players already established, and so they just added into the Steve Spagnuolo system. But like the Baltimore Ravens, they've done that on defense, where they've gotten the 6'6", 6'7", like Kyle Hamilton, 6'4" safety. They just drafted another one. Well, Malachi Starks is another kind of really, really great athlete. Like, this is the direction that I think Buffalo's heading into. So when we go, I'm telling you what's going to happen next year, guys. We're going to go defense again. We're not taking a number one receiver. You get that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
We're not doing that. We are going defense, and we're going to focus on retooling that offensive line.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a big season for Milano as well. I think they're going to really monitor what Milano, one, his health, if he can stay healthy for a complete season, and two, what he.
Then we know that, Tommy, if he can't stay healthy, we know the answer.
Exactly. Then it's a wrap. Exactly. I just wish, the one thing I would say that I feel like the Bills have done. There's a lot that they've done wrong, but they've also done a lot right. So I don't want to be this channel where I'm just constantly saying negative stuff about, because obviously we've won the AFC East 5 straight years. We're a good team. We're making the playoff. I know this team's a good team, right? I respect what they've done so far, but we also got to talk about the bad, right? Here it is, man. When it comes to certain guys that they should get rid of or move on from, they have held on to certain players far too long, when everyone else, for the most part, is screaming, why? Like, I was saying, get rid of Kaiir Elam 2 seasons ago when you could have probably got even more for him. I'm shocked they got what they got from the Cowboys, but they could have got more because he's a first-round pick. They should have said, you know what? It's not going to work out. We made a mistake. Let's cut our losses, but we'll get something good in return, or at least decent. They didn't. They held on to the guy you mentioned earlier, Trent Murphy, way too long. Matter of fact, they kept him a season when we could have saved like $8 million, and he was like inactive for most of the year. Like, it just made no sense. Guys they should have, like I said, moved on from. So it's one of those things. It's like, you know, I don't know why they do certain things like that. I think they're just hoping for the best. That certain guys just make this turnaround. They finally got rid of Trey. They gave him another chance, and I had a feeling that was coming. But like the Milano thing, like you said, like they're going to have to make a decision next season, this offseason coming up next year. So we'll see. Can he stay healthy? Can he be the Milano we know? Because when Milano's healthy, he's a freak. He's one of the best linebackers out there. But the problem is, like somebody said earlier, he's kind of undersized, and he is. He's converted, right? He's a converted safety from linebacker. But that's how McDermott likes his defense. He likes him, athletic and small that can move side, east to west. But at the same time, injuries occur, and we've had a lot of them. We've had a lot.
You need to get ready, and this is what like even if Milano this is the last year of his contract, I think if he stays healthy, I think they'll re-sign him. Which this may seem like a hot take. I think that's a mistake. And I think the reason why it's a mistake is because, yes, he'll be healthy for this year. He may be healthy for next year, but he's 30. He's going to be, I think he's just turned 31 this year. He'll be 32 next year. And if the contract, it'll probably be like a 2 or 3 year, it'll probably be like another 2-year deal. Maybe we'll add like a void year into the contract just in case they want to let him go. But it's like, do you want to pay a linebacker that's going to be 32 years of age? It'll be what's the contract? Like, we like to pay him T-friendly contracts, and I think Milano probably will take the contract. But to me, this is what I'm saying. If I have an opportunity to take a 6'4" linebacker or a 6'3" linebacker with the same athletic prowess, maybe not the same football acumen, because Matt Milano had to develop that acumen in order for him to become the player that he was. But if I can get a 6'3", 6'4" player with that same athletic prowess to play as a weak side backer, to play weak side or strong side backer, because my mic is already established. I already have my mic. I just need another weak side back with that athletic prowess, who's bigger, stronger, stronger. I would just draft it. I'd rather draft it than I think pay it.
And I think they will. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think they're going to draft linebacker next year. And by the way, Patriots 12 coming in with a hot take. Bills can't beat Chiefs.
Okay.
I mean, cool, man. I even know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, in the playoffs, you are 100% right. I mean, I don't even know what
the playoffs. You're right about that, but yeah, we have beat them.
Yeah. But I mean, not when it counts the most. But I mean, I don't even understand I don't even understand just the comment. Like, is that what you came in just to say? Cool. I mean, okay. I mean, come with something else better than that. It's like, it's funny. Like when forever, and I'm sure it's still, certain people say it. The Bills lost 4 straight Super Bowls. It's like, okay, bro. Yeah, I know, man. Like, it's just so crazy, man. Certain people, man, like, they just can't come up with anything else other than saying Bills can't beat the Chiefs. Okay, I don't know. What do you want me to say? Yeah, you're right. We haven't. Okay. Anyways, last year at the Ralph. Speaking of that, we're gonna finish. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I almost forgot about something. Let's finish this part of the segment up, and then I'm going to talk about that, because this is an interesting thing that I saw today. But let's get through this real quick, and then we'll dive into that. Early season home cooking. And then we talked about that earlier. Buffalo will play 4 of their first 5 games at home. That's crazy, bro. That's really awesome. The most difficult challenge occurs in week 1 when the Bills host Baltimore. Buffalo then hosts 4 teams that are rebuilding their rosters. Buffalo will host Miami, New Orleans, New England in weeks 3 through 5. There is a strong possibility that the Bills close the portion of their scheduled undefeated, which is crazy, man. That'd be a hell of a start for this team if they can start undefeated in those first 5 games. The most challenging games. Buffalo face stout competition throughout the season. We know about the Ravens already. The Bills will face both Super Bowl 59 combatants, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles throughout the year. Buffalo also faces the surging Cincinnati Bengals and MVP candidate Joe Burrow. The good news, these challenging games are spread out. It is, like I said, the NFL did this right. After Baltimore in week 1, the Bills will face the Chiefs in week 9, Cincinnati in week 14, and Philly in week 17. And honestly, I'll be honest, Jarek, by the time week 17 rolls by, who knows where, like, once again, will Philly hit that Super Bowl, next year thing where some teams just kind of fall off a little bit? We'll see, but I don't think so. They have a lot of talent there. By week 17, they may be resting guy. You know what I mean? Like they're not trying to. They may have their division wrapped up. Is what I'm trying to say. So that may not be as hard of a game as we think because it's so late in the season. Cincinnati, however, gets hot around this time, so that's going to be a tough game in week 14. That's why I was kind of hoping that our first game will be Cincinnati. So, because Cincinnati always comes out the gate slow, right? Always. Go back and look. They're notorious slow starters. But we're going to probably get that team at a time where they're cooking. I mean, this is exactly when Cincinnati starts to cook up. So, I think that game will be tough. Even better news, Buffalo will face all these teams at Highmark Stadium. By the way, I call it Highmark still, I guess, but I hate the name. I hate it. I'm used to it now. I get it, but it's still, to me, Ralph Wilson Stadium, Rich. Like, it is what it is, right? Like, it's the new age. Every team, for the most part, has sponsored stadiums. It's so weird to me. I don't know. Anyways, favorable travel schedule. Buffalo will play 1 game out of the Eastern time zone. Buffalo travels to Houston in week 12 for a Thursday night matchup. While the Bills will have to adjust to some different start times, they will not spend a great deal of time in the air. They travel the second fewest miles among teams this season. Jarek, that's big. Like I said, I really feel like the NFL really did us right on this schedule. I gotta say, listen, there's some tough matchups there, and there's some teams on this schedule like the Falcons, like the Panthers, that are teams that are on the rise or could be, better than what people think. Same with New England. We'll see what they do this season. But overall, like the way it's spread out, the way we don't, really have to travel a lot of miles, a lot of home games against these tough opponents. Am I right? Or like the NFL hooked us up? I gotta say, the NFL did us good.
Yeah. I would say the only thing they didn't get right was the bye. I was hoping that the bye was going to be
that. I don't. You're right. I'm with you. I prefer like week 10, week 11, so like week 10 through 12, somewhere around that range. Mm-hmm. But I'm with you. Yeah, that early bye week, was it week 7? I'm not really a fan of.
The good thing is, though, is that after our bye week, though, Larry Omajobi and Michael Hoyt, they'll be back. So they'll have an extra week of practice with the team. Besides training camp and besides that stuff, they'll be practicing. Or no, they wouldn't be practicing because during our bye weeks,
no, they can't. Yeah,
a lot of teams bye weeks, we just we're off for like that week, and then we come back the next week, and then we just prepare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we get Hoyt and Ogunjobi back, so they'll be inserted into the rotation. Hopefully, that'll be our defensive line is going to be a lot fresher than pretty much any positional unit. I think on our team is going to be defensive line because the amount of depth we got there.
Robert coming in. There are 15 other teams in the AFC that can't beat the Chiefs. Exactly, the AFC West haven't been able to beat the Chiefs for 9 or more years, the rest of the AFC rely on the Bills to beat the Chiefs. I agree. Or that it was either us or the Bengals. It's always now maybe the Ravens. I think the Ravens are a team that's in play there. So really, if we look at AFC at a whole, I would say, obviously, even though the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl, they still got there. They're still winning each season, even though like people are like, counting them out a little bit. They still find ways to win. So I have to say they're still top dog until we knock them out of the playoffs. And I think it's us. And then Baltimore, I would say, is a little bit ahead of Bengals. And the only reason I say that too is because I think it's the Bengals' slow start. If they don't have the slow start, I think the Bengals and the Ravens are really equal. I mean, because the Bengals have some really good weapons, man. But they just have these slow starts, and that you can't have that in the NFL. You can't. You're digging yourself out of a hole every year, like early. That's the Bengals' problem. The Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs, they don't have that problem. For the most part, we come out pretty good. We have that little stretch, 2-3 games where we get in a little funk, I noticed, right? The Bills always like wind up like week 4 through 6, 7. We like somehow find ourselves in a funk, and then we snap out of it, and then we're good to go again. Like that's how we do. But we're not notorious for like slow starts. The Bengals are. But you're right. Like once again, man, it's like it's not just the Bills. It's a lot of the AFC teams. We have a tough time beating that team, and they're a really, really good team. So it's just a stupid comment. No offense to whoever that is, and I don't think they're still in here. They just probably came in to do that, and whatever, Our steroid guys will be back. Yeah, our steroid guys. Yeah. Hey, I had no idea, man. Like, I trusted my trainer. Dude, you're in the. What are you doing? Don't. Come on, man. Like, stop. These players, I don't buy that at all. I'm sorry. Like, that whole BS bullshit excuse. Like, don't give me that. Don't tell me you didn't know. And if you don't, why are you taking these? Bro, I would never take supplements unless my team doctor approved. Because then, you know what? If I fail and my team doctor gave me this, it's like, for sure. Then I could at least go, yo, this guy's he's a team fucking doctor. He said
just call
he's a team trainer or whatever, the team trainer.
Just call NFL positions. Like you could just contact the NFL has they have a personal training team that approves of they have professional physicianists that will approve of it from the NFL that represent the league. Right. And so if you get in trouble, and if I was him, I would have asked him hey, can you give me a note just in case? Get a receipt, get a note. Right. So that you can prove the NFL saying, okay, this is what they recommend me to take. So if I got in trouble, it's because you hired them. You hired
exactly.
them.
Exactly.
And I took them.
Exactly. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like if I'm a player and you're talking a lot of money, by the way. These guys are not getting paid. They're missing time. Dude, I am going to be picky as hell what I'm putting in my body. Like I am making sure that it is approved by my team. Like I said, my team's trainers, because if that shit comes back, you can at least, you know what? But I would buy that. I would totally go, okay, you know what? Hoyt proved hey, it was this guy who works for the fucking team told me this is good and that it wasn't. And you know what? The team probably would, I'm assuming they would back him and go, yo, we made a mistake. And then you know what? Fine. I'll believe him. You know what I mean? It was not you did all the right steps, but man, when will these players learn? And I that's why I feel like come on, they know it's BS, man. You know what you're doing. Stop doing that. I hope players start to learn from that, and they probably won't. They'll continue to do dumb shit like that. But must be the beginning of the season because the Dolphins fans are talking smack, bro. Let me tell you something, Robert. And I don't know if you know what's going on, Jarek, in Dolphin land. And I didn't really get to talk about this much, or we didn't get to talk about it at all. We're going to talk about it real quick. Let me end this real quick, and then we'll get. I have so much. You know what's funny? I didn't have anything to talk about like an hour before we went live, and now I got a lot to talk about. So here we go. So to finish this, the end of an era. Buffalo will play their final game at Highmark Stadium against the Jets, the New Jersey Jets, in Week 18. The Bills are in the spot that they have been in over the past few seasons. Week 18 might not mean much in the standings. The Bills have been sewn up their postseason aspiration well in advance of the final regular season game. However, this game will be marked by memories of reflections as the Bills prepare to move into their new home, just across the street from the historical stadium. It's fitting that Buffalo faces off against the Jets for the final regular season game at the old Highmark Stadium. Buffalo faced the Jets in the first home game at the stadium, September 30th, 1973. That's pretty cool, right? I didn't even know that, so that's cool. Buffalo won an electric defensive affair, 9-7. Overall reaction. Bills fans have to be smiling with the schedule. From a fan perspective, from early season games at home in nice weather will lead to a slew of broken tables in Orchard Park. Buffalo avoid a massive grind as the Bills will have time to plan for some of the most challenging teams. Their lack of travel and convenience of playing several tough teams at home make this quite a prelude for a historic season. And that's the end of that article. So pretty cool. I had no idea that our first game was against the Jets at that stadium, and it's going to be our last. Maybe. So this came out. This is really interesting, and we'll see. And I don't know if you heard this. Let me see if I could pull this up here real quick, guys. This is interesting. I don't know if you saw this, Jarek, but I'm going to pull it up now. So did you see this article by chance? New Buffalo Bills Stadium may open later than expected.
Yeah, it's
Buffalo. They're saying that it may not open for the 2025-26 season, actually. It says, according to Nate Benson of WGZR, the opening of the stadium has been postponed to December 2026. This means the upcoming season will not be the Bills' final one in the current home. Again, this is a report and could be wrong. So what do you think? I think they'll open in time, but it's kind of crazy that it's floating out there.
It would be a financial disaster if they were to open that stadium in 2026 and December of 2026. You got it. Like, you don't open it. Like, if don't open it, because if it's going to be open by December 2026, that means that there still are that's a problem, right? I kind of compared to video games where you know how video games they get delayed and they get pushed back. And even after the pushback, they open
glitches.
It up, still a disaster. Like right. That's telling me that it's just not. Don't open it then. If you're not going to open it by kickoff of 2026, you need to push it back and open it by the start of 2027. Because that means that there's still going to be issues, still going to be problems going on with that stadium. Then we're going to have to hear about it. And no, it will be a financial disaster if that stadium is not open by kickoff. That is what they're going to do. Otherwise, just delay it and just push it back to 2027. The season's over in December. What do you got? The season's over. People already purchased their season ticket. Like what? Come on, man.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I think. I'm sure they're delayed or whatever's going on. They're behind right now. I'm sure that is probably there's some truth to it, but they're gonna get it right. Like this is about money, right? Like this is a big deal. They're gonna be pushing this thing all season. How the Bills is last year in the stadium. They're gonna be pushing it on Hard Knocks, which we'll get to in a minute. They'll do what they got to do. If they got to hire more people, they'll hire more people, but. It is kind of crazy that this came out that they're delayed and it possibly may not open next year, but we'll see. I think they will be. Now, on this Dolphins thing that's going on, Jarek, and I'm sure you don't know about it. I didn't even know about it until my buddy, Captain D, and y'all know Captain D. If y'all don't know Captain D, he's on the AFC East Shakedown. He's my buddy, been my buddy for a long, long time. He called me up today. He's like, bro, you see what's going on with the Dolphins content creators and Dolphins media. And I'm like, I was like, of course not. I don't pay attention to your fucking Dolphins. So I guess what's going on, Jarek, is Dolphin content creators are like in this battle or war with the local Dolphins beat writers, media, and they're throwing shots right on YouTube and on Twitter or X. And TD Fins Talk is one of them, and I'm sure all y'all know who that is. And I'm not bashing the guy on this, but so one of the reporters, it came out that he had multiple years ago. He's tried to do like multiple like channels of like Chargers.
Oh yeah.
So I get, yeah. So I get what, like, so here's the deal. Here's where he messed up. Here's where I get where he was going.
Because a lot of people get, I'm gonna let you
so I get where he was going with this. Like, because now, like, once I kind of read into it and once I went on to where he was trying to go with it was, I think he was trying to make it like a locked on Bills, locked on Chargers, locked on Dolphins. So if y'all know Locked On, right, Joe Marino, there's Locked On is every matter of fact, they do hockey and I think they baseball too, but they cover every team has their own guy, right? So we have Joe Marino that covers the Bills, and Locked On Dolphins has whoever the hell. And I think what he was trying to do was do something like that, like TD Chargers talk, TD Tampa talk, like Bucks talk. Like he was trying, but the problem I think the problem that he had, or that people are like, what, is he was promoting it. He didn't have anybody. It seemed like he didn't have anybody ready to do these podcasts. That's one, because I don't see anybody but him. And two, like it's fine, but I wouldn't be the guy. I wouldn't be the face and be like, hey, where real Chargers fans go to. You get what I mean? Like for me, he should have set it up where you have your guy in place. He's the one that's promoting it to start. You know what I mean? So it looked kind of. I see why Dolphin fans are like, yo, what the fuck is this guy saying? Yeah, real Chargers fan. But I don't hate. I'm not hating on his vision. I just think he did it wrong. You get what I mean? He fucked up.
Yeah. So basically, his channel is called Roundtable Sports. This is for the Dolphins fans. Like, it's called Roundtable Sports. Yeah, he tried. Like, yeah, you're right. He tried to do like this lockdown thing because he's starting a business, right? This is
right. Yeah.
I tried to do this like earlier on. I tried to do this. I went on multiple channels, tried to promote certain teams, even like rival teams. I got a lot of pushback from Bama fans by doing that too. But he does. It's called Roundtable Sports. He still does it. Dan Mitchell and who's like
I know them.
Dan Mitchell is like you got the Patriots guy, you got the Jets guy. Not to mention too, like they got 20,000 subs in that channel. But a big reason why like these roundtable things are going on, like perfect example, AFC West, AFC North. This whole thing that's kind of going on, which a lot of people are doing now, it's like they were the ones that kind of kicked it off and started. And now it's like absolutely everywhere. So Dolphins fans, like, they try to push back on TD because they call him like a disloyal fan. I'm like I get what he was trying to do, because a lot of other content creators have tried to broke away and try to get into
exactly.
When you're trying to do this full time and trying to do this as a business, it's hard to stick with one team. Like, you want to cover multiple teams. You want to try to get your business out there. And so I don't have a problem with it, because Roundtable Sports is still kicking. That's the reason why they covered the Super Bowl. They covered the Super Bowl because of that.
Listen, dude, I don't hate anyone. Like, I don't hate on anyone that has like a vision like that. And that matter of fact, that not only a vision, but is succeeding. Right. So listen, when it like, I very rarely watch anybody's different channel, like different teams podcast. Obviously I know of him because of Dan Mitchell, and he's a character, you know what I mean? And that's fine. Like, he's doing his thing. Like I said, I just feel like, so basically what happened was, what the whole story is, I guess these content creators, Jarek, are calling these media guys out, saying they don't know they're not being real. They don't know the X's and O's like we do. And they're only giving you, what the Dolphins are telling them to give. You know what I mean? Like, and then, so you got these local media guys now, they're clapping back and be like how the fuck can you say that when we've been, so it's just kind of like this kind of war now going on. And you got to remember too, a lot of these local media guys, they weren't doing YouTube and like they were on the radio. They were, yeah. So now,
because they realize how popular it is.
Yes. So these like stations, these radio stations are pushing them to do content on YouTube. And I think what's going on is it's kind of like, hey, you're stepping on our territory. Like we're here first. And that's how I kind of see it. I could be wrong, but it's kind of funny. Like I said, and to your point, I'm with you. Like for any Dolphin fan that thinks like, he's a traitor, like you gotta like I don't even know the guy that way. Like, and I saw what he was trying to do and accomplish. I just feel like he did it wrong, so it looks bad. You know what I mean? But outside of that, he's built something really good. So I can't hate on the guy, and I do believe he's a true Dolphin fan. He seems genuine, but I just feel like he did it wrong.
There's a lot of, I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a lot of truth. I'm sorry, a lot of media people, they don't know football. Like they do not.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Jarek, on that. 100%. There's a lot of media guys that they're scared to even tell the truth or speak their mind because they don't want to lose access to the players, or because they can strip them of their credentials to go into the locker room or post game or whatever. Matter of fact, they have. So I'm with you, but I don't feel like all. It's kind of unfair if they're saying all local guys. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's some that bring the truth or bring at least their own opinions. You get what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily totally buy into that, and I don't also think you have to be super X's and O's to know your football or have an opinion. Am I wrong on that? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
you don't like
you want to try to.
We're not cover one. You know what I mean? Like they know their stuff. And I'll give you a great example, Jared.
Even cover one could be like they could be like what are you talking about?
And that's a great. That's why. So cover one. We all know cover one, and cover one. I'll give credit where credit is due. They know their stuff. They do their homework. They have interesting stuff where they show you. Especially if you don't really know a lot of like you can learn a lot. I'm with that, and I'm cool with that. But that doesn't mean like you're smarter than the next guy all the time. Like, oh, your word is golden. And one time there's a guy named Eric over there. And bro, and I wrote something on, and this is years ago, Jarek. This is probably in 2022 season or 2023, maybe I think 2022. I had wrote something on X like during the game. This is when I used to tweet a lot. Right. I do barely tweet anymore because it's people are pretty tough. It can get really heated on X. So I dialed it back. But anyways, 2022, I tweeted something about the Bills in the game, and Eric came after me, boy, and he wanted to prove he was right so bad, bro. And bro, this guy would not let it go. And the next, I'm like, and when someone says to you, Jarek, we have to agree to disagree. What does that mean? It's time to end the conversation, right? If I say that to you, okay, we'll have to agree to disagree, right? Mm-hmm. Like generally, if we're me and you are debating right now, and I'm like, and we're just not, I'm sticking with what I'm sticking with, and you are. If I say to you, well, we got to agree to disagree. That usually means right, time to move on, right?
You're not going to change my opinion. I'm not going to change your opinion. Let's just, whatever.
Right, let's scrap it and call it a day. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear it, bro. So he came at me again, and I'm like, "What is going on right? And this guy would not stop. And he's sending me video clips on, and this is, and I told him, bro, listen, I know you know your stuff. I get it, but you think I'm just fucking idiot? Like, I watch the team too. I have my opinion, and I'm telling you, I feel that, what I forget what it was, but that they shouldn't have done that. And you're whatever. If you feel different, you feel different. But that don't mean like I'm an idiot because he was like, oh, you don't know. And I'm like, ugh. And finally I had to block him. So it's like, long story short, I had to block him. So yes, like the thing is, man, certain people can get really like heated with their opinion, right? And bro, at the end of the day, you know this, Jarek, we all have an opinion, and it's not always going to be. It's not always going to be the same, and that's okay. That's fine, right? Like it's fun. This is what makes it fun. But you don't get mad. Don't get heated. Don't try to drill it that I'm like, you're an idiot. You're wrong. So, dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, am I wrong there?
No, it's crazy. A lot of it is a when you're making content, right? And again, when you're making content, like you're all like, not everyone's gonna agree with you. They're gonna push back on you. And like I said, I don't mind. Like, for me, I don't mind debating. Matter of fact, I love it.
Sure.
I love debating people with sort of sports topics. I think it's what makes content for me great, is when I have people that don't always agree with me. I don't want people to always agree with me. I want people to push back and challenge me, because I can get better, right? Because maybe I'm off about something, and they can teach me or I can try to teach them about it. And if they don't, and if we feel like there's going to be points where it's like I have my joint, I'm not going to change. You have your joint, you're not going to change. Maybe I can take something away from it, and hopefully you can take something away from it. But if it's just a stalemate and it's not progressing, I just drop the conversation. I just move on, and and it's okay. It's
right.
Totally okay. But yeah, like, because I know what you're talking about. And again, I'm not trying to diss any of the Cover One guys, but like during the draft season point where we didn't take a receiver. And I get it. Like, people wanted to take a receiver in day 2 or day 3. I don't know how you feel about it, but day 2, day 3, or day 1, people wanted to take a receiver to help Josh. I knew they were going to go on defense. Matter of fact, I came on here, we did our mock, and I said they were going to take two defensive tackles, 2 cornerbacks, 1 defensive end, and 1 offensive tackle. The only thing I got wrong was safety and linebacker. Everything else, though, was spot on. I knew they were going to take those sort of positions. And I remember people in the chat were freaking out because I didn't take a receiver. Like, why are you not taking a receiver? I'm like, it's like, listen, like I've done my homework. This is what we're not going to do. We're not going to draft a receiver, which we did, by the way. That was in the 7th round, but we were not going to take one in day 1 or day 2 or early day 2 to make them receiver 4. Now, again, like I remember in the chat, people were kind of, we're going back and forth. But listen, you got your own opinion. I got mine. At the end of the day, we'll see what happens during the draft. And if I'm right, I'm right. If you're right, you're right. It is what it is. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You're wrong. It is what it is. But unfortunately, man, people have such huge egos on here. People have such huge egos, especially content creators, because they feel like they're majority of time they're always right. They're going to defend that position to the death, or until the result actually happens. And then they'll forget about it. When they're wrong, they'll forget about it completely. They'll forget about it completely, and then they'll just move on and do something else. And it's just a pattern. So I just have learned to say, okay, you know what? If I'm on a post and I disagree with somebody, I may state it. We may try to go back and forth, but if it's a stalemate, I'll just leave it alone and just move on.
Yeah. And that's the right way of, guys, in general. It don't even matter. Sports, whatever the hell you're talking about. Don't let it get to a point where you're getting heated and angry. It is what it is. It's an opinion. Like, even if you feel like it's the most stupidest opinion ever, it is what it's their opinion. Walk away, let it go. Yeah, that's all. Exactly. And at the end, you know what? And at the end, you could talk about it, again in the future. You know what I mean? Be like, hey, and hey, okay, and that person will eat crow, or they'll admit, hey, I was right, you were wrong, or hey, we were kind of both right. That's fine. By the way, that's Captain D. That's my buddy who told me about the Dolphins stuff. You got it, man. Dolphins have a lot going on, man. Sometimes we have some stuff going on, but not like that. Kevin, that's when you lost the argument. Yeah, man. Dude would not let it go, man. Go Bills, says Cynthia. Yeah, go Bills. Spin saying what we learned from this is Tommy knows how to hold a grudge. Listen, I don't hold grudges. I just speak the truth, right? And I will call you out. And I'm never afraid, or I don't bite my tongue. How about that? I will not, sit here and lie about something, or not tell you guys about something that happened to me or whatever, or people I've dealt with. And for the most part, since I started this channel in 2020, I've met a lot of cool people, and Jarek is one of them. Like, I met Jarek years ago, right? And Jarek's he's a fucking special co-host all the time here. He's part of the family. This dude's a great dude. And I never knew this guy up until a couple, 3 years ago, whatever. We just happened to talk a few times on through, I think it was fan base, and we became instant friends. He's a good guy. And same with Aramis over at Post Podium, and Keys, and a lot of people I've met, and some people I've met I don't really care for. And that's okay. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you guys, you people in the chat, you watch who you want to watch, and you like who you want to like, and you listen to who you want to listen to, and take, you take what they say. You can take whatever they say, whatever. And you can think I'm an idiot. You can think I'm smart. I don't care. This here is just for entertainment for you guys, and to talk Buffalo Bills football, and I'll give you my opinion. Jarek's going to give you his. Mike is going to give you his. And when I have the AFC East Shakedown guys on, Curtis is going to give you his opinion, Captain D. And it's fun. It's a fun show. And I'll never, ever, listen, if somebody has an opinion I don't agree with, I'm never going to call you an idiot. It is what it is, man. So that being said, move on. Let's see here. Like I called out Flats Drums, we should be talking. Kevin, yeah. Hey, man, listen. This show here, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, man. Until football season actually starts to wind up and kick in, at least like mini camp kicks in, training camp.
Like what, 2-3 weeks away?
Yeah, be prepared. This is the kind of shows you're gonna get. But it is what it is, man. We could be sitting here in dead air, right? We could sit here and be talking about the same old bullshit that a lot of channels are, right? And I'm not going to do that. That's not what we're here. We're here to have fun and talk about whatever. I don't give a fuck. We talk about, for the first 30 minutes, about lawn cutting and ranch and blue cheese. It is what it is. Spin. You sure you never called me an idiot before, Tommy? I'm not sure. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I probably told you to shut up. I never called you an idiot. Do you think we should pay Cook? Oh, here we go. Back to the Bills, Kevin. Back to the Bills talk, and I'll let Jarek answer this. Do you think we should pay Cook while we have $14.5 million back up in the tight end room? Jarek?
Nope.
That's quick.
Nope.
So, okay, he's saying pay Cook. Now, do you think we should pay Cook but a certain amount, or you just think in general, hey, let's let him go?
We are not paying him $15 million, people.
But not 15. Let's just say in general, like whatever. What would you be? Yeah, in general. Like, what would you be happy with if you found out the Bills? Okay, they signed him for, let's say hypothetically, 11.5 with incentives up to 14.5. Would you be good with that?
Yeah, I would, yeah, because he would be because even still he would be top 3. He would be like a top 3 highest paid running back, regardless. But I'm not paying. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not paying him 15. I'm not doing it. That's what that's what he wants. Him and his brother. They're not budgeting off the contract. And listen, if we franchise tag him, he's going to hold out. And I wouldn't blame him. He will hold out if we franchise tag him, because the franchise tag is $13 million. I think it may go up. It's $13 million. The franchise tag. James Cook, I don't like this year is risky, because if he tears his ACL, he's not getting he may not get $10 million if he tears his ACL.
Right,
and so I'm listen, I know he was at Wegmans, I think somewhere near Rochester, kind of doing promotion, doing stuff, but I'm very curious to see what happens during training camp. I'm very curious to see what happens, because if I'm him, and this is just me going through his eyes, I'm holding out until I get my contract. Either that or trade me, because I'm taking the risk of going out there after the last couple years I've had. I'm going out there taking the risk. Last year under my contract, if I tear my ACL, I know the running back market. You're not going to pay me what I want. You may not pay me $12 million. I know I'm probably going to get 9.5, 8, maybe 8, and that's maybe. I may get even lower. So I would hold out if I was him, but if he gets franchise tag, he's 100%. He's 100% sitting out if he gets franchise tag. He's not playing under that $12, $13 million tag. He wants his contract. He understands the value that he understands the value that he knows he can get to. That's more projection. He's still young. He has very, very low mileage. I don't think the Bills want a team-friendly contract. It's not because they have anything against Cook, because that's all their players. Bernard was team-friendly. Rousseau was team-friendly. Josh Allen was team-friendly. Khalil Shakir was team-friendly. Like Christian Benford, which I have no idea how in the hell we got him to the contract he was, team-friendly. James Cook's not playing that because because running backs, it's different. Running backs, they don't get paid. They don't get paid that much compared to other positions in the league, and so you can't be team friendly from that particular aspect.
It's because they got a shelf life. I mean, that's a hard fact. I mean, we talked about this last week. Listen, we're not just. Once again, I get it's an opinion, but also there is stats that show this. I'm not going to pull them up now, but you guys can easily pull them up. There's many articles that show proof of when running backs hit year 5. Their numbers decline. Yeah,
because they have high and spin real quick. He's not, of course, I know what you're trying to say, but he doesn't have high mileage. And for running backs wise, it's like you're 26, 27, but like in football years, that's like being 31, 32, 33 years of age, because by that point you've already suffered. You've suffered maybe some big time injuries. You're slowing down. You're not recovering as fast as you used to. You're not getting faster. You're not getting stronger. You're declining when you're going to the 5th year, 6th year contract. So to have a running back like Cook, who does not have high mileage, he's never suffered a significant injury in his career. He's never had 200 carries in his life, which is crazy. He's never had 200 carries ever. And again, this is high school, so I get it. Maybe Pop Warner he did, but high school, college, he's never had 200 carries, never. So
that's the good thing. You're right. That is the good thing when it comes to Cook. I get that he didn't. He wasn't rushed a lot in Georgia, so it wasn't like he was coming out of college with, like you said, high mileage, a lot of tread on the tires. So that is the good thing for Cook. But once again, I don't feel, what he's asking for. One is I don't feel his value is there. I don't think he's a top 5 running back. I like him. I think he's good. But once again, I would not. I would guarantee you go around and ask every fan base what their top 5 running backs are in the NFL. Random people. Ain't no way James Cook's coming up in that, because he's not. He's not a guy you think about when you think about the top running backs in the NFL. I like him. He's good. He had a good season with the touchdowns, but outside of that, he barely cracked 1,000 yards. I don't think he's going to match what he did last year as far as touchdowns go. I could be wrong. Once again, I'll eat crow if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But there's some obviously good sides to him. Low tread on the tires. He didn't run a lot in college. He hasn't run a lot even in the NFL. We barely get him. I don't even know if he cracked 200 carries yet for this team. If he did, barely. So there is some good side to it, but he has to also, like I said, he has to understand this too. And I feel like he is really listening to the wrong people, in my opinion. And that's Dalvin Cook, his brother. And I think he should see that Dalvin Cook's career has not gone too well at the end there when he was about the money. So you got to be smarter if you're a running back. If the Bills offer you a decent contract, you don't even need to get up and move. You're here. You stay in Buffalo. You're on a good team. You can go get paid, but now you're on a shitty team, a new offensive coordinator, new coach. You may not know if you even like where you land. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. And that's why I feel like a lot of players take team-friendly deals, because they're comfortable where they're at. They know their team's a winning team. right?
Because
and
you know that
they have a home here. There's a lot to it.
And you know you can get it. You can get a third contract. You know
exactly
you can get a third contract and get that extension. And so what you probably would have made in your second year is what you're doubling that potentially. Like Benford in about 2 years is going to get another contract. If he plays the exact same way that he does play, he's going to get a contract. He's going to get another contract in 2 years. Milano's already had 2 contracts.
So Kevin's been wanting for us to answer the Dawson Knox thing. I think Dawson Knox took a pay cut last year. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I know he took the pay cut, but I don't know what his salary is per season. I don't think it's 14.5 anymore. However, I will agree with this, or I will say this. I think it was a bad contract to begin with. I think they did it. And I could be totally wrong here, guys. I could be totally off on this comment. But his brother just passed away that year. There was a lot going on. I think that year was 2022. That's when the whole Buffalo Tops thing happened. His brother passed away. There was a lot going on. And I think they just was trying to do something right for Dawson Knox at the time. He also came off a really good season. I think he was tied with the most touchdowns for tight end at 9 or something like that. So it wasn't like he was, he came off a bad season. He came off a pretty good season. And I think they were thinking he was going to match that or take another step forward. And he didn't. And he also had a lot of injuries. He still is having injuries, right? And so, yeah, ultimately it was a bad contract. You know what I mean? But I feel like they were looking at what happened the year prior, which was, a pretty good year. And it was actually a big step for him considering what he did the previous year, which wasn't a lot. He was having a lot of drop passes the year before. And in that season, he actually was doing really well, caught a lot of touchdowns. So I think that his brother passing away, I just think there was a lot going on. And I felt like they were just, and also too, he's, Josh Allen's buddy, you know what I mean? Good dude. He's good locker room guy. And they paid him. And it wasn't a good contract. But I know he redid his contract. Am I right on that, Jarek? Yeah, I know he did it for more incentives, right?
He did it twice, actually. It's like 8.5. It went from like it's like $8.5 million. But yeah, I mean, if the Bills wanted to, they can get rid of him next season. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to continue to extend him. Dawson Knox is too valuable on this team to get rid of, in my personal opinion. A big reason why is because he's the best blocking tight end on the team. Not to mention he's the best deep threat tight end on your team, because that's not Dalton Kincaid. He's a guy that if you need to stretch the field vertically, that's what you use Dawson Knox for, because it is not easy to find a tight end that can block as well as he can and that has the vertical speed that he does. And he's a valuable red zone target. You can use him in the red zone. He's a target that Josh Allen trusts even more than Kincaid. Again, that's just, and this is what we're talking about in terms of why we can't get over the hump, is because we make these sometimes we make these crucial bad draft selections, or we pick up these free agents that are bad selections or bad signings that affect the team. We should have picked up Brian Branch that year, because that's your whatever. I'm not going to go that deep into it. But yeah, Dawson Knox is just a more trusted target than Kincaid. Right. And so, now that we got Jackson Hawes, I'm telling you, if Kincaid does not get bigger, if Kincaid doesn't get stronger, and if he can't improve in the run game, you're going to start seeing a lot more jumbo packages and a lot more 12-13 personnel, or a lot more 12 personnel where Kincaid's not on the field, and you're going to start seeing Jackson Hawes and Dawson Knox. Because this is how James Cook gets the contract that he gets, potentially, is because you need to rely on those tight ends that can block. That's why James Cook couldn't get the carries that he can every single game, was because we were always limited that one tight end can't block, and you have to use him either as a slot option, or you have to use him in the short to intermediate part of the field, because he can't block. And so that's why ultimately I think Dawson Knox is probably going to get another extension. It just won't be expensive. It'll be cheap. Yeah. Which ultimately I think that's, Dawson Knox, he's already took two pay cuts. He'll take another contract unless Kincaid gets his shit together, which I doubt.
Yeah. So to piggyback off you, And Kevin, I'm going to get to your comment about that, and I'm with you a little bit on that as well. So, here's the deal. There's a reason why James Cook over the past 2 seasons has eclipsed over 1,000 yards. His touchdowns went up last year, and Jared just said it, and it's the truth. We got bigger at receiver. We got more physical at that position, better blocking. We never had that in the past. We had smaller receivers who could not block. Stephon Diggs could not block. Gabe Davis wasn't really that. He was probably our best blocker, and still, even that was not his forte. Cole Beasley wasn't a blocker. Like, we didn't have that. This is probably our biggest receiver room we had last year. More physical. We also improved our offensive line over the last 2 seasons. All this benefits James Cook, all of it. And I'm not knocking James Cook. James Cook also has done really well. He's a home run threat. He catches the ball out the backfield. There's a lot of good, but there's also some qualities I don't like. I don't feel like he's a good pass protector, but I'm with you. He is a playmaker. I'm 100% with you. And I'm not saying don't pay him, but at the end of the day, look, you got to be smart with this. And the truth is the truth. Running backs have a shelf life, and I'm not blowing smoke here. I promise you. Look it up. They all do. Even the best ones in the league is still a roll of the dice. Christian McCaffrey, prime example. If you get him for a year healthy, great, fucking unbelievable, awesome, MVP type of a player. But can you really count on him every year? No, you can't, because that's running backs for you. It's very rare you get guys like Adrian Peterson that get hurt and come back and bounce back and stay healthy. Frank Gore, who's just those guys they're rare, bro. They're super rare guys. And once again, there's only a few electrifying running backs right now that you could go, oh, you know what? It's worth the risk. And that would be Saquon Barkley and Henry.
Barkley.
That's it. Yeah, but I mean the risk of it, the risk of injury, the risk of players slowing down because of age. I would risk my money on that. I would kind of be more okay. You know what, McCaffrey, Henry, and Barkley. Okay, you know what? I get there in later years or past the that spot where running backs start to decline, but they're so good, they're so dynamic. I'm willing to take the gamble, and I get that. But James Cook is not that, guys. He's not. He's a playmaker, yes. But I'm not willing to pay that guy what he's asking. Now, once again, will he may be asking this, and I'm okay with that. Like, a player's not going to ask for lower, because clearly this is a business. I get you start high and then you negotiate, whatever. But I'm going to tell you this straight up. They clearly had talks. And talks failed. And that tells me Brandon Beane definitely had an offer on the table, and it failed. And I don't think they were even close, because Brandon Beane went ahead and signed everybody else. Right? So I think they're so far apart, and I think that right now James Cook is playing hardball, and he's not willing to ease up on his offer. And that's okay, to each his own. Listen, and I don't think they tag him. I think he plays this year, and I think Beane lets him go ahead and get his offer somewhere else. And it is what it is, guys. And I promise you this: the Bills will wind up getting a running back, and we'll be okay. I promise you. That's my opinion. I'm gonna stick to it. But I understand he's a playmaker. I'm with you, and I never ever said he wasn't. And he made some unbelievable plays last year. But so did a couple other players. Ty Johnson made some unbelievable plays. Unbelievable, right? There's a lot of guys that made unbelievable plays last year. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we'll be okay. He's here to play this year. I don't think he'll sit out. He's going to play, and I think he's going to test the waters, and I think Brandon Beane will let him test the waters next year. And we'll you know what, guys? We'll talk about it then. Right? When we have that problem next year, when we're talking about what running backs do we get. Right now, I don't think it's a problem. I think he's going to play. And that's it. But yeah, we can we can agree to disagree. Yes. 100%. Right. Thank you. We can agree to disagree. Yeah, but they get 2,000 yards. Yes, it's a big difference. And I do, to me, that does count. Like barely cracking 1,000 guys. Listen, I don't think that's anything, unbelievable. If you look at the stats, you look what he did last year, outside of the touchdowns, he was like 15th ranked running back. He wasn't that unbelievable. Good running back, but he's not a 3 down back. That's a problem. They limit his snap count for a reason, right? And who knows? Listen, he could go somewhere else and they could fucking run this dude 250 carries, 300 carries, and he could be a 1,500 yard back or more. Who knows? I don't know. Time will tell. But right now on this offense, it ain't going to happen. You won't see James Cook running for that many carries, and you won't see that many yards because of that. And I'm going to stick to that. And that, but once again, that doesn't mean he's not a playmaker. That doesn't mean, he can't be, useful on this team or have another really good season. I'm not comfortable with the team paying him that crazy of a contract when I feel like you can get running backs in the draft. That's just my opinion. But once again, we have opinions. It's all right. We all have different opinions. If he plays not to get hurt and doesn't produce, that's not going to help his case. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. If he doesn't have a good season, that's definitely not 1,000% won't help his case. So if he's smart, he balls out, right? He goes all out. He does what he needs to do, and gets that bag. I mean, yeah, just like every player that's on their final year, absolutely, it's what you should do. You should go out there and show your worth, and I expect that he will. And I do. So go for it, James Cook. Give me another 20 touchdown season. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm not going to complain.
Or prove that you can be a 3 down back.
Exactly.
You get the contract by proving that you can be a 3 down back. Derrick Henry.
Exactly.
See, again, people say, what about Derrick Henry? Yes, Derrick Henry's not a great great passing block. But he's a 3 down. But they use him in 3 down situations. Why? Why? Because Derrick Henry gets the ball 25, 30 times a game because he has proven throughout the majority of his tenure that he can handle it. And that's just people. Derrick Henry is a once in a lifetime player at 6'3", 250 pounds that can just get you not just the volume of carries without suffering significant injury. Like in this generation, like it is difficult now for running backs to get past 7,000 yards rushing throughout their careers. It's difficult. And so for Derrick Henry to constantly do that year in and out basis, it's hard. And
it's very hard.
He's an exception to the rule of guys that's not great at pass blocking that can still get the money that he did. And even then, his latest contract was $13 million, but the incentive can go up to $15 million. So a guy that's coming off of 1,900 yards still didn't get the contract that James Cook is asking for.
Right. That's our point, and I think that's where I stand. It's not that I don't want James Cook here. It's not that I don't think the Bills should offer him a contract. It's what he wants and what he's willing to take. And if he's overvaluing himself, and that's fine. If he believes he's the best of the best, listen, to each his own. But the Bills ain't going to do it. Brandon, the proof is right there. They sat at the table and they did not get a deal done. Clearly, they are way apart. And I don't think unless, like I said, unless James Cook has this unbelievable season where he matches and does better even than he did last year, fine. I can see Brandon being going, you know what, young, he's gotten better at this. He's took another step forward. Then maybe they bend a little bit, right? I still don't think they're going to go all out and pay him top 3, top 2, top money. I think if he matches or does a little bit better than he did last year, I could see him in that top 5 kind of money. And I would, I guess, be okay with it. But I'm just, guys, at the end of the day, I'm just not for paying running backs, like me personally. And that's just a me thing. I just don't. And it's not even just a me thing. A lot of NFL GMs
pay running backs. I mean,
yeah, a lot of NFL GMs. Yeah,
Josh Jacobs. Yes, the Packers signed him, but there's a reason why the Raiders, who they just drafted a running back in the top 10, by the way, there's a reason why the Raiders let him go. A guy that led the league in rushing, they let him. They didn't want to pay him. The Titans didn't want to pay Derrick Henry. The Giants, who I think ultimately they made the right decision. The problem was they didn't trade. They should have traded him instead of letting him walk for nothing. They should have traded him and get some capital value, which they didn't do. But yeah, I mean, Saquon Barkley was getting 1,200 yards, and he was getting hurt. Everyone knew the talent that he had. The problem is he played behind a crappy offensive line. Daniel Jones was the quarterback, and like they weren't a good team. So why would you pay a running back that's only had 3 healthy seasons throughout that's only had 3 healthy seasons? Why would you pay him? It makes no sense to pay a running back that hasn't been healthy with your organization. You should have traded him. It's just like, this is how it is, guys. Running backs are the final piece to the puzzle. They're not the starting block. That's why out of all the positions, even though on the field production may say that it's extremely valuable, which I do believe, but according to a lot of GMs in the league, it's one of the least valuable positions right now on the field from a money standpoint. Because their careers tends to shut down around 25, 26, 27 years of age.
Yeah, that 50, like I said, that 4th, 5th, 6th season, they start to decline. Kevin, see, once again, we'll have our opinions, we'll agree to disagree. Look, man, what we did last year, I think we were 2nd in points. Everybody eats mentality, blah 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 blah. Look, man, going into that season last year, I'm not going to lie, right? I was on the fence. I was like, okay, will Josh Allen buy in and will everyone else buy in? They did, and it worked out. Will that work out? Will that work again? We'll see. But I will say this, that I don't agree when you say we don't have playmakers on offense outside of James Cook and Josh Allen. Khalil Shakir has done nothing but get better each season. He's a playmaker, and he's a guy that is still has not reached the ceiling. And I believe like he's going to be our next 1,000-yard receiver. I believe he is the go-to guy for now. Is he elite? No. No. Do we have an elite wide receiver? No. But we have a lot of good pieces that have a lot of different things they do very well. We have speed now, right, with Elijah Moore. And by the way, Khalil Shakir runs a 4.3. He's fast too. Like, we have speed. It's not like we're slow. We also have bigger receivers too, Keon Coleman. So we have a lot of depth, I feel, that offer a lot of different things in this offense that can make this offense fun. So you don't necessarily need to have elite wide receivers, to be a good team. We got to the AFC Championship last year with fucking Mac Hollins. So I'm just, and that's not a knock on Mac Hollins. I like Mac Hollins, but we've improved our receiver room since Mac Hollins left. So I'm not buying that we don't have playmakers. We have a lot of guys that can make plays. We may not have the Jamar Chases of the world or the Jeffersons. I get that, but it's working. And and keep doing what's working. And we'll see, if we have another year where we're scoring 30 plus a game, you can't really, what? I'm not going to complain that we don't have a 1,500-yard receiver. Like, who cares? Like, the ultimate thing is to get to a Super Bowl, right? Like, that is the ultimate prize. Look at New England Patriots, right? They never had a true great, this unbelievable receiver. They had a really obviously great tight end in Gronkowski, but outside of that, they mixed the running backs every couple years. It was nobody ever like unbelievable, right? They always mixed and matched their running backs. They had a good offensive line, and they had receivers that were, they just did their job, but they weren't great. None of them are great. And they won multiple Super Bowls that way. So I don't necessarily believe you have to have these unbelievable, wide receivers. Would I want one? Of course. But go with what's working. Last year it worked. Well, and I feel like this year will work even better because I feel like we improved at the receiver position. That's where I'm going with it. And we'll see. Like I said, we'll see. But right now, I feel that system is working for this team, and the fact that Josh Allen bought in. And by the way, too, not only did it buy in, but his stats, his stats got better as far as his turnovers go. He's not forcing the ball downfield. He's not forcing the ball to one receiver all the time. Like I was like, okay, I see now why they did this. And I'm good with it. I'm totally okay with it. Now, if it backfires on us this season, and which it could, then I'll eat crow and I'll say, hey, we need to go out and get a top shelf receiver. But right now, I think what we got is going to work. How do you see it, Jarek?
Listen, I hope James Cook can get more carries. I hope because he's got to prove. I mean, he's got to prove that he can get over 200 carries. He's got to prove that if he can handle the work of the load. He's got to prove that he can get that. It's not just touchdown production. He's got to replicate a lot of things. He's got to prove that he can be a 3-down back. But yeah, I mean, listen, I agree. Khalil Shakir, I think is going to get 1,000 yards. I think Josh Allen's going to get more passing yards. But listen, I mean, I just care about the defense. That's all I care about.
Yeah, that's at the end of you're right. Yes, thank you. At the end of the day, Kevin. At the end of the day, we can sit here and complain about what we need on offense. Really, like we're so top numbers. That's not. Yeah, that has not been the defense. Yes, the defense, Kevin. What I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be as real as I can get. I'm never confident in our defense heading into the playoffs. Never. There's never been a game where I'm like the defense is going to win us this game, or the defense is going to absolutely thrash this team. Even the Denver game, I still wasn't confident. I knew we would win. And to your point, what you just said right there, JA17 got us there. Let's not kid ourselves. Yes. And that's why when you have an MVP type quarterback, a franchise quarterback, and Josh Allen, like I mentioned, Tom Brady, that's what they do. They're supposed to. That's why they're the best of the best, right? So, they can get a team.
Defense, if they just allow, and I'm just going by this, it shouldn't even happen. But if they just allow 24 points per game on defense through the playoffs, and mostly against the Chiefs, the Bengals, but if they just allow 24 points a game, we are in the Super Bowl. We're in We're in it. If we can just allow 24 points a game, but we can't even do that. We're allowing almost 30 points a game defensively because matchup to matchup, we don't match well defensively against the Chiefs. What they do, which is they focus on yak yards, they focus on quick twitchiness, intermediate, and Patrick Mahomes is extremely precise, time based, even better, way better than what Tua can present because he can improvise. If the play breaks down, he escapes the pocket because we have no pass rush from the outside and the interior, so he takes his time. And then all of a sudden, because the receivers, they know how to get open. Receivers, they drill it. They no one. There's not a team in the league, maybe besides the Dolphins, and that's just Waddle and Hill. No team in the NFL is good in terms of yak situations and in terms of improv better than Kansas City. And it kills us every single time. Yeah, we're a zone-based scheme because we're a zone-based scheme that sucks in man coverage. And the problem is when you have a team that knows how to pick you apart in zone, you got to start playing man. And when you play man coverage, if you're not good at it, you lost. You're fucked. That's why Philly and Tampa won the Super Bowl, because Philadelphia had a secondary that was just as athletic, great in man coverage situations, but they were also really good in zone. That's everybody wants to give the front seven and great, because that front seven tore up Kansas City. But ultimately, I thought won them the Super Bowl. What turned Philadelphia season around, it was three players: Cooper DeJean, rookie, Quinyon Mitchell on the outside, who was a shutdown corner rookie, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Those three players right there, it killed everything. Cooper DeJean as a nickelback, it was over. Quinyon Mitchell could eliminate one side. The weakness of that secondary was Darius Slay, who's a good player himself.
Yeah.
That's why they shut down Kansas City's short yak game.
Yeah. Kevin, you ain't lying. Like, I'm with you. The scheme is, listen, the scheme works. The scheme works to, how can I put this? The scheme works during the regular season against certain teams. It works very well. But once again, when you get into the playoffs and you're playing the best of the best, you have to know how to switch things up on defense. You have to know how to, change it up. Like I said, switch it up. If that's not working, your zone's not working, go here. The thing with McDermott is, this is his defense. He's sticking with his defense. This is what he designed, and it backfires. It fails every single time. The adjustments he makes, they don't do anything. They don't work. Right? He's never adjusted well. Matter of fact, go back to last year. We gave up a touchdown every single opening drive of every game. Denver, Baltimore, the Chiefs. That's unacceptable. That's not a good defense. It's terrible.
They can't work because we don't have the personnel to match. And
no,
I'll say this, Tommy. Maybe you'll agree with me on this. If Zay Flowers would have played in that Ravens game, we would have lost. We would have lost.
We may have. Like
I don't think it's a might. We would have lost.
Yeah, we may have. I'm not. I can't say that because it's unfair. I don't know because they could have forced it. They could have also went away from something else and forced. Nope. You never know. I'm with you. You never know. I understand where you're going.
Because how Rashad Bateman, because we did not have another corner that could stop Zay Flowers. If we couldn't stop Rashad Bateman, which I don't know why they stopped. You know why? Because Mark Andrews was tearing the linebackers up in the intermediate part of the zone. And Mark Andrews, he was dropping passes, but that's why Lamar kept targeting him, because he was still getting open behind the intermediate part of the zone, which opened up the deep, which opened up the deep ball for Rashad Bateman to make those plays, which made Isaiah Likely open to make those plays deep down the seam, because you cannot rush Lamar Jackson straight up. You have to play contain. And the problem with playing contain is that the linebackers are always trying to spy the quarterback, which means that when Lamar runs and scrambles, he's taking a linebacker off of his zone, which means busted coverages, busted plays, which happened in the entire game. And if Zay Flowers would have played in that game, it's over, because they have too many weapons now. We have lack of speed, lack of athleticism, and it's. So I'm confident we lost that game.
So I don't know. Like, I'll be honest with you. Here's why I say this. Defensively, I get where you're going. I totally understand that. But I feel like when I said it last year when we went into the playoffs, our offense had to play perfect football in order for us to make it to Super Bowl. I felt like in that game we played we played really, we came out firing. We slowed down a little bit in the second half, which ultimately is why the game got tighter. But I'm just saying, I feel like even if he was out there, the game it could have went either way. I don't know if they destroy. I don't know if
I can't say that though, because the turnovers. Like they had 3 turnovers in that game. We got lucky because of turnovers. That volume because in the second half we couldn't do nothing. The second half we couldn't do nothing. The first half we scored 14 points straight up. The second half goes, it was a wrap. And the only reason why we got 21 points was because of it. If the Ravens, what they don't do is turnovers. That's ultimately why the Ravens can't go to the Super Bowl. It's not because of talent. It's because when they get to those games, they lose the turnover battle.
Yeah, they have some bad. Yeah,
relies heavily on turning over the ball. If we can't get turnovers, this is a fact. If we cannot get turnovers, we lose. I'm
with you.
We're 0-4 when we can't get turnovers. We lose.
I'm with you. I'm totally. I'm not even debating that. We lived that. That's how our defense did last year. Like, we weren't good. We were 23rd ranked, 22nd, something. We weren't a good defense. It was all because of the turnovers that kind of it almost was a smoke screen on how kind of bad the defense really was. But bro, like I said, once again, there was only maybe 2 games that I can really say that it was a total team loss. That was the Bengals playoff loss, and it was the Chiefs 2020, which I felt like was a total team loss on everybody. Outside of that, guys, the defense has never, ever stepped up when they needed to. They have never, and I never felt confident. Never. Not one fucking game. I was like, whoa, the defense is going to get a stop here. They're gonna, close it out. Bro, I am on the edge of my seat every time a team, when we're in the playoffs and the other team gets the ball with a minute left. Yeah. Because I don't trust them. I can't. Because the proof is I've seen it way too many times. My eyes don't lie. Like we give up chunk yards and chunk plays, and we do dumb things. And McDermott's calling unnecessary timeouts. He's calling timeouts just to give up a huge third down play. like what did you do? You called a timeout, and we still wind up giving up a big play. So it's the defense, guys, and it is what it is, man.
We've invested more offensively, because I actually had to look this up. We've invested more offensively in the last 5 years than we have defensively. We've had 21 draft picks and more signings offensively than the defense. And this is when the defense was starting to go downhill. So this was after 2020. This is when the defense started to, it started to go downhill a little bit. You knew that Poyer and Hyde were getting older. Trey White was getting banged up, and he was suffering injuries. We couldn't get that pass rush getting together. We've invested more offensively to help out. This is why I hate when people are on the receiver train, I always combat them with this. We have drafted more receivers. We've been drafted more offensive linemen. We definitely drafted more running backs to help out Josh Allen. No matter how much people think about not getting that real number 2 guy like a T. Higgins or Jordan Addison, we have invested more for Josh the last 5 years, draft picks and signings, than we have done defensively. So ultimately, this is where I have to question McDermott and Bean is, because we win 12, 13 games for a reason. So they're not, obviously, I'm not saying that they're bad or anything like that. I'm just saying that when you know that the problem has been the defense, and stats can be deceiving, but stats ultimately don't lie. They can be deceiving, but it doesn't ultimately lie.
And your eyes don't lie.
Your eyes don't lie,
right. I don't fuck about PFF and grades. We watch what we watch, right? We see what's going on, guys. Don't forget about, that's why sometimes I feel like grades and these PFFs, bro, sometimes that's all bullshit. I understand they're there for a reason, blah, blah. But dude, at the end of the day, let your eyes tell you what you see. And what we're seeing is meltdowns in the worst times in the playoffs by this defense. And it has, and you're right, Jarek. And they keep
quarterback, edge rushers can't get to the quarterback, defensive interior, the interior. Your interior gets it. We know. Here's the thing, Tommy. We know it's bad. We know it is. That's what we talk about all year. Is that this defensive tackle unit? We're concerned about it because we know that Rousseau's not a 15. He's not that player. So if these defensive tackles can't show up, we're screwed. We know it is. And so, again, I'm glad they invested in TJ Sanders. I'm glad they invested in Deion Walker because besides Ed Oliver, these are the most athletic defensive linemen we've ever drafted or signed. This includes Daquan Jones. They add
I'm with you.
Explosiveness, lateral agility, whatever you want to call it. I'm glad. Here's the problem, though, is that if we're expecting a championship this year, you have to hope that these players can be impactful. And I just don't know. TJ Sanders, well, the Bills thought he's a first-round pick, and ultimately we'll see. I hope he is. But
I'm high on him. I am.
I'm high on him too. But I'm excited to see him. He may take a minute because they said he's a little raw, so we got to coach him up a little bit. The same thing with Deion Walker. We know that if Walker can get, it may take Deion Walker about a year or two before he gets
Deion Walker's he's the question mark, Jarek, for me. He's the biggest question mark, and he's the biggest player. I want to hit on this, Kevin, real quick before we go on. Bean hasn't drafted a wide receiver ever, or do I have to bring up Kelvin Benjamin? Okay, so Kelvin Benjamin wasn't drafted. He was traded here, right? And it was a bad trade. Wind up being bad because Kelvin Benjamin turned into an offensive lineman, and he didn't have the work ethic. And to be honest with you, he wasn't terrible in Carolina when he had, why? Because he had a guy and Cam Newton, who probably pushed him a little bit harder. Josh Allen wasn't going to push Kelvin Benjamin because Josh Allen was young, and Josh Allen wasn't the leader that he is now, and that was never going to happen. So Kelvin Benjamin came here with the cockiness, leaving Carolina after being traded, that he was the number one. You guys remember his rants to the media when he was talking about he's the number one, he's the man. Like, no, Kelvin Benjamin had an attitude about him. He got fat, he got lazy, he didn't want to put the work in, and that happens sometimes. And it wound up being a bad trade. And you know what? They got rid of him. And I'll give this is what I'll give credit to. And you guys also got to understand too, when you're a good team, you don't draft early. And very rarely are we ever drafting in the top 20. We're always high 20s, 30. So you're not going to get an unbelievable talent receiver unless you get lucky. I'm not saying you can't get one in round one, late in round 1 or 2. I'm not saying that. However, to say that they didn't go out and get Josh Allen help is kind of wrong. Because 2019, they got
Cole Beasley.
Exactly. John Brown, Cole Beasley was this for, and you can't knock that production. John Brown got over 1,000 yards his first season. Cole Beasley was one of the best slots while he was here. Okay, you can't say that. You can't say he wasn't. He almost got 1,000 yards, matter of fact, 970, 950, and that's only because he got hurt. So Cole Beasley was one of the best. Let's not.
He was a top 5 slot.
He was one of the best slots, exactly while he was here. John Brown had his best season as a Buffalo Bill, over 1,000 yards. Then they traded for Stephon Diggs. Ain't nobody was complaining. Exactly. Which basically he's a first-round pick. And nobody was complaining about Stephon Diggs, who, let's be real, he did give us back it was a good trade. Like, I'm not look, of course we would have loved Justin Jefferson, but we didn't know, and I don't think anyone knew Justin Jefferson would go where he went. Right? The Eagles made a mistake. But either way, nobody complained about that. Stephon Diggs put up great numbers. You can't say we didn't get Josh help. They also traded up for Dalton Kincaid, round 1. They tried to get him, one of the best tight ends in the draft that year, and Dalton Kincaid. So they have tried. But I understand what you're saying. But at the same point, like I said, we don't ever draft in that. Yeah, we just don't draft.
I mean, it's work. We have scored 28 points a game at least since COVID. 28 points. We've been top 5
exactly
for five or 6 straight seasons. What are we doing?
I'm with you. And you know what though? And I get your point, Kevin. And you're probably going to say, well, it's because of Josh Allen. And yes, you're not lying. Yeah, I'm with you. Yes, but that's what great quarterbacks do. They can make everyone around them better. And I'm good with that. So, like, bro, as long as if we're scoring 30 points a game, 28, 29, 30, we're making the playoff. And of course,
that's
look,
not the problem.
And look, that's not exactly. And I'm not saying here. And I want to tell you guys this. I'm not happy, and I'm not sitting here going, it's acceptable that every year we don't make it to the Super Bowl, because it's not. We're going to year 9 with Sean McDermott, who's a defensive-minded head coach, and we're sitting here talking about the fucking defense, because the defense still, and going into year 9, has been a problem with a defensive-minded head coach. That is unacceptable, in my opinion. That would be like if we had an offensive-minded head coach who was this offensive guru, and our offense stunk for 9 years, and we're still trying to figure out why piece together our offense. We would go, bro, what is going on here? So our defensive-minded head coach, our defense should be solid by year fucking 9. Matter of fact, it should be solid by year 3. Like, I'm telling you guys, it's Sean McDermott. I don't like his defense. I don't like the scheme, and I'm not saying he's a bad coach. I just don't buy into his scheme. I don't think it works. I think it fails more than it works, especially in big games. And yes, the truth is we get by, we win a lot of games because of Josh Allen. I'm with you. I understand that, but it is what it is. And if you're a winning team, you're constantly winning 12, 13 games each year, you're not going to get good draft picks. And you're going to have to either pay a free agent top end money, which I don't think they're going to do, right? Because we just haven't had that kind of flexibility with salary cap. Or you trade up crazy, get in the top 10 and get yourself a receiver. It's just not going to happen, especially if their offense is clicking.
This
like,
I'm telling people, it will not happen this year. I'm telling you, it will not. This draft that's coming up, regardless of what happens, because I feel like we're attacking defense again. They know it. We all know it. I'm sorry, guys. It's not going. Especially because even if we draft, let's just say Brian Thomas. Well, I wanted to have Brian.
Oh,
Thomas.
dude, I would have loved it. Yeah, I get it.
Like we scored. How much of a difference does that make? What, 35 points now against the Chiefs for them to score 38?
All right.
Like, it's just like people will not hop off the Bills receiving train until we lose a game, until we lose another high-scoring game.
Yeah.
Like, we should have learned our lesson after the Chiefs, where Josh Allen has a perfect. He almost has a perfect game, and we lose because coaching decisions and defense. Like that should tell you right there, and that should tell you right there that we don't need the offense. I'm sorry, guys. The offense it should not be the primary focus because we've invested more in the offense than defense. Defense has we got to start working on the defense, guys. It has.
Yeah, it's the. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll change my mind with that if we go again and they still can't get it right. But I will say this. They need to fire McDermott then. Because then if you go into the following year, let's say this, guys. Let's say we're year 9. This is year 9 of McDermott. The defense still letting us down. Let's just say they do, which is very possible. Then we're going to year 10 with McDermott. At this point, if we're sticking with McDermott, you know what? I'm all in with you guys going, fuck it. Get the best of the best receiver, and because it's the only way we're going to win, right? Like, we have to have the most explosive offense to win a Super Bowl. Then I'll buy into that. You know what I mean? Then I'll go, fuck it. We're never going to win the defense. I'm just saying, right. But to me, fire the coach. There is no more, let's fix the defense. Now we're year 10. We still, it's the defense. We're going to year 11. The defense still giving up. No. When are you going to finally go, you know what? Here's the problem. It's the coach. It's the scheme. It's time to move on. Right? Or to like what everybody wants here, or not everybody. I apologize. I'll take that back. What a lot of people are saying, or some of you are saying, boost up the offense like crazy. Get yourself a top 10 receiver. Get pay James Cook all this money, or fine. If that's the way you feel that is the only way this team can win is with the most explosive offense with a shitty defense, then hey, whatever. But that's not how it should work, guys. That's not how it should work. The defense should play a part. And unfortunately, it's played a part, and it's been a bad part. And it's cost us playoff losses, crucial playoff losses. And when our offense played very well. So we'll see. Like I said, man, I'm not trying to bash McDermott. I give him credit. I do think he's a good coach. But I don't buy into his scheme. I don't like that he doesn't adjust very well during the playoffs. I think he gets out coached. He still gets out coached at times. He still makes some boneheaded coaching decisions at times that drives me crazy. But ultimately, he gets us to the playoffs. And if you're happy with that, you're happy with that. I am not. I want a Super Bowl. And I feel like every Bills fan should want one. We're due one. Right? And Josh Allen's only going to be, matter of fact, he just turned 29. Like, the prime, he's still in his prime, but, we keep fucking around. We're going to be nearing the end of the prime, we're done.
He's got 2 to 3 more years of this, in my opinion, because Josh Allen he gets banged up every year. He suffers some injuries.
Tough kid.
Yeah. He's got 3 more years of this in terms of this is his top athletic prime. He gets to 30, and then he gets to 33, 34. He's still a great quarterback. He still might be a top 5 quarterback, if not the best quarterback, but he's not what he was in his 20s. He's not.
Yeah.
I am telling you all this right here, guys, because it's happened with a lot of great quarterbacks where they had to make some sort of adjustment. Like Ben Roethlisberger used to be the strongest quarterback of all time, and he used to be like people don't remember. He used to be a lot more mobile.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah.
He had to make adjustments once he got to like those 30s, and so he was still strong. He wasn't easy to take down, still strong in the pocket, made some phenomenal throws. He just wasn't that Ben in the 2000s. Aaron Rodgers was the exact same. Aaron Rodgers used to be way faster. Aaron Rodgers got to the 30s, he got to dial it back a little bit.
Yep.
Can't be that guy. Josh Allen, he's going to have to make an adjustment when he's in those early 30s to like those 33, 34.
Yeah.
He's got to make an adjustment.
I'm with you. Yeah, and we love it now, guys. We love the athleticism that he brings, the dog mentality, the bulldozing people, hurdling people. But Jarek's right. In time, it's just taking a toll on his body, just like running backs. We talk about running backs because that's why they have a shelf life. They take a lot of hits, right? Like that's why they don't last long. But Josh Allen plays like a running back at times, right? He plays physical, and we love it, and I love it. But yeah, in time, he's going to have to dial it back and start, getting a little bit, doing things he probably is not, doesn't want to do, which is be more protective of himself, because he's not going to be able to do that stuff because it's going to be damaging the team when he gets hurt. So we'll see. Once again, though, my point is, I guess with all this is, I feel like McDermott is a good coach, but he's reached his ceiling. And I think players have ceilings. I think coaches have ceilings. It's just the reality of it. And I think McDermott has taken us. I just feel like, I think he's taken us where he could take us, right? And he's done what he could do. But I just feel like, look, man, like honestly at this point, guys, and I know it's a shitty thing to say, but if we won a Super Bowl, it's because Josh Allen absolutely went fucking bananas in the playoffs, and it's going to have nothing to do with the defense and Sean McDermott. It's just going to be one of those special Josh Allen playoff runs where he just went, the offense just went ham, and we kind of got lucky. Not lucky. I take that back. I don't like that word, but you know what I'm trying to say, Jerry. Like it's going to have to take a special season for Josh Allen.
It's not just Brandon. It's not just McDermott. It's Brandon Beane too. I think we have to have a conversation at some point. Did Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott hit their peak? Because again, these are great coaches and great general managers. But guys, you look at some of these great coaches, great general managers that have never won Super Bowls. It's because they at some point their philosophy it hit a ceiling, it hit a cap. Yeah. I believe McDermott. I actually believe more in McDermott than I do Beane in terms of doing it. Because Brandon Beane has to give us the right pieces for McDermott, in my personal opinion. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how much stock McDermott has in terms of getting the players. Because if McDermott does, then guess what? Beane has that means Beane needs to start maybe not overriding decisions, but he's got to have that conversation with McDermott saying, listen, your philosophy in terms of getting the type of players that you want, I'm getting them for you. We're not getting this thing done. If we're going to go defense, which I agree with you, defense is the problem. We got to get the best value. And this is not just the best value for you. We got to get the best players. Like in 22, instead of getting Kincaid, we should have took Brian Branch. Because if we would have took Brian Branch and that would have been our safety, we would have got that. The secondary would have been void. We should have took. Yep. We should have traded up and tried to get Trent McDuffie. We should have. We should have took Tyreek Woolen in the 4th or the 5th round. We should have took DK Metcalf instead of Cody Ford or AJ Brown in the 2nd round, or AJ Brown. So something's got which I think that this year was the start of it. This is the problem, and I think Bills fans they hate what I'm going to say. I think that this year is the start of the philosophy change, because for us to get a one tech, we typically don't draft big one techs. We don't draft those type of players. That tells me that a flip happened. Something changed within the organization saying, listen, we have got to get the best athletic value for us. It may not be the best player there, But in terms of the value, what the Eagles did, what the Buccaneers did, we got to get more athletic. We have to.
Yeah.
Secondary has got to get more athletic. The defensive line's got to get bigger and stronger and more athletic. We can't keep relying on Daquan Jones. We got to fix this now before it gets too late for this season. And that's what they did. Now, I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl, me personally, because I think that it's going to take time for these young players to get better. However, if they follow it up, let's just say next year, and they draft Darryl Jackson to pair up with Deion Walker, we will now have the biggest and tallest and most athletic defensive line in the NFL, because you have 6'6" Darryl Jackson, 6'7" Deion Walker, and 6'7" Walker, 6'4" TJ Sanders, 6'6" Landon Jackson, 6'8" Gregory Rousseau. So right there, you may have the most athletic defensive line, one of the most athletic defensive lines in the league. If they decide to say Cole Bishop isn't the answer, let's go and get a more athletic safety like a Kamari Ramsey or Caleb Downs. I mean, I doubt it, but let's just say Caleb Downs or Dylan Thyman. You now have your free safety that you now have your Micah Hyde free safety, because Cole Bishop or Taylor Rapp isn't that, but you now have that now, which means you can start running a lot more cover 2 now. You start running a lot more cover 2 and 3, and you can do it at a more high successful clip rate, because Micah Hyde was that rangy safety. You haven't had that for the last 2 to 3 years. You now have it now. So this is what I'm saying. We got to get the best draft value if we're going to go that defensively, instead of getting players that fit what McDermott wants to do, because that's not work. That hasn't taken this defense to the Super Bowl. We're now starting to do that this year, and ultimately we got to see if they're going to follow it up. And so that's what I think.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm with you. He does go bananas in the playoffs, Josh Allen, that is. But I mean, to a whole nother level. And listen, I'm with you, Jarek. Like, I'll say this: I always believe this team, as long as we have Josh Allen, can win a Super Bowl. Don't matter, and that's my point, Kevin. Like, but he, it would have to take a unbelievable playoff run by Josh Allen, meaning no mistakes, perfect football. Playing out of his fucking mind to make up for the defense. And that is I'm 100. That's what I'm saying. 100%. I'm with you, Jared. That's what I mean. Like but that doesn't mean it can't happen. That's what I'm saying. So if we did win a Super Bowl, my point is, I don't think it would be because the defense, right? All of a sudden, this year it just got so much better and dominated in the playoffs. It's going to take, like you said, maybe next year when we start adding more young depth in the draft class, that maybe this defense can complement, because that's what we're asking for at the end of the day. Complement the offense, help out, give a helping hand. Right? Don't let it be so one-sided.
Why can't Josh Allen have a Jalen Hurts type of year in the playoffs where he's barely throwing for 190 yards why can't he be that? Why does every single year in the playoffs Josh Allen has to put up historical numbers? Because the defense sucks. It sucks in the playoffs. I wish Josh Allen can have the Philadelphia Eagles on the defense. I wish he can have the easy time where Saquon Barkley is getting 200 yards and the defense is 13 and they're stacking the quarterback. I wish, because if we would have had that just once, you know how many Super Bowls we would have been to if we could just have it?
Just once.
The defense gives up historical numbers. This is what we're trying to tell you, Kevin, is that no matter how many playmakers Josh has gotten, if we score 40, the Chiefs are going to score 42.
42, right?
We don't got it. We don't have
it. Exactly. Justin, for some reason, a lot of Bills fans still have drought brain. And I do agree. You know who else has drought brain? The Bagulas. And that's the reason why they do not want to move on, or they're afraid to move on from McDermott, because let's be real. This is why I'm not totally knocking the guy. Like, he has turned a team that was dead in the water and made it more fun and exciting. And we're on prime time now. And, we're getting all these primetime games and new stadium opening up, and we're on Hard Knocks now. We didn't even talk about Hard Knocks yet, but, we're putting asses in the seats, even though we always did. But, every year fans are, this is good. We're talked about a lot more. Like I see why the Bagulas are hesitant because they're afraid of change and this could all go away with if we bring in a coach that's a bad coach. Guys, I don't think that would happen. I believe that they would find a coach that could still get this team to a playoffs. Because even if, and I said this a million times, guys, even if you hired a guy and he winds up not being the guy, worst case, we're still a playoff team. We're just not getting to the Super Bowl. What's the difference? At least we tried. You have to eventually make a change. You have to eventually go, you know what? We got to see if there's somebody else with a different voice, with a different scheme that can, get this team over the hump. You can't just keep riding out the storm. It's just sometimes not sometimes, a lot of times it doesn't work out. And a lot of times you just keep doing this thing where you repeat, rinse, repeat. And it's the same results. And guys, I know because we do this podcast every year. I'm doing this since 2020. And we're here in the offseason talking the same fucking thing about the defense and about Sean McDermott and about the defense and Sean McDermott about the defense. And it's the same thing. That tells me it's a coaching problem. That tells me it's on Sean McDermott. He has yet to get it right. You are in year 9. That is nuts, guys. Year 9. We should have been to at least a Super Bowl. At least. Because if we got to a Super Bowl, Jarek, even if we didn't win one, but if we got into one, I would at least go, you know what? He got us there. And I believe that if he found a way to get us there once, he can do it again, and we possibly can win one. But he hasn't.
He hasn't been fired yet because he got him to
a Super Bowl. Right. He hasn't. So I just don't, once again, man, it's going to take an unbelievable playoff run, in my opinion, for that to happen. Ask Belichick if he can win without Tom Brady. Exactly. And that's a great point. And I do believe no Josh Allen here. This is a 4 or 5 win team, and maybe 6. And listen, players come here. What's the first thing they say? Even defensive players. I came here to play with Josh Allen. They never say, I came here to play with Sean McDermott in this unbelievable defense, and I love the coaching staff. You never hear that. I've never heard that. Ever. Never. So, listen, free agents, rookies, they know what's the key to this team. It's Josh Allen. It's nothing to do with the coach. He doesn't do I'm not saying he doesn't do anything, but he's not the difference maker or not a primary reason why this team is a playoff team. It's Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a special talent. He's an MVP, obviously. And he's a reason why we make it to the playoffs every year. And he's the best quarterback in the division by far, as of right now. And we're going to continue to run the East until Josh Allen gets out of his prime. I mean, that's how I see it. But I want more. And I think all of you guys should want more too. We've been on here a while, so I want to quick run through what we're going to do. So real quick, Jarek, I'm going to run through this. I want you to see if you agree or disagree. Most underappreciated NFL players, AFC team. All right? Tell me if you agree or disagree. Baltimore, Rashad Bateman. What do you think?
I think he's underappreciated.
Underappreciated.
Yeah, I think he's underappreciated.
Okay. We'll run through this quick because we're going to be on 3 hours. Buffalo Bills, Dorian Williams. Underappreciated?
No.
So you think they're wrong here? You're saying
I think they're totally wrong. He can't. First of all, he can't cover. He doesn't have. He doesn't have the instincts of what you want that you would expect for Will. He doesn't really sniff out plays all too much. I mean, look at that. If he sees it, he's going to attack it. But he sucks in coverage. He's not an instinctual player, and they don't really utilize him in the box. He's not a great box linebacker. He's a sideline to sideline athletic linebacker. But the problem is that he has three or four other huge things that it's just not. It doesn't fit this defense. Yeah.
13 seconds. Yeah, it tells you everything you need to know about coaching staff. Anyways, okay. So you disagree with that? Okay. Next one up, Bengals. See, let me piggyback that. I like Dorian Williams. I think Dorian Williams took a step last year. I think he is a good depth guy. I think he filled in really nicely. But I don't know about if he's.
I don't want my team. He can't cover.
Exactly. That's the problem, guys. Like I feel like he's a he like I said, he's a good linebacker, but he's a good depth linebacker. He can't cover. That is a big problem. But yeah, Mike Gesicki, is he underrated?
No, he's exactly what he is.
Underappreciated. Is he underappreciated?
Appreciated. Nah,
Yeah.
He's exactly what he is. Solid.
All right. Jordan Hicks, Browns, underappreciated.
Nah, I think he's exactly what he is.
Okay. Broncos, Jonathan Cooper, underappreciated.
Underappreciated for sure. Very underappreciated linebacker.
Derek Barnett.
Nah.
Texans. No.
Nah.
All right. Nick Cross, safety, Colts.
Yes.
Okay. Jaguars, Brenton Strange, tight end. Think he's underappreciated?
No.
No, I don't think so either. Chiefs, Noah Gray. I would say no, right?
What is wrong with this list?
I have no idea. Raiders, and this is NFL, by the way. NFL. Adam Butler, tackle, Raiders.
No. This is a crazy list.
Yeah, and this is NFL.com. Chargers, Elijah Molden, safety.
Yeah,
there's some that you agreed on.
Yeah.
Okay, so you agree with that one. Dolphins, Aaron Brewer, their center.
I don't even know who that is. Let me be honest with you.
I don't even. I was keeping on. Keon White, edge for the Patriots.
Yeah, I think he's a little underappreciated. I think he's going to be a lot better for that defense.
Okay.
Edge rusher.
Chipman, center for the Jets.
Yes, I definitely believe he's underappreciated. I think he has a chance of being a Pro Bowl center.
Okay. All right. So there we go. Jarek was pretty hyped for that one. Jalen Warren, Steelers, running back.
Yeah. He should have been starting over Najee Harris last year. He would have been 1,000-yard rusher.
Amani Hooker, safety, Titans.
I think he's okay player, but I think he's not.
So okay, not all right. And that's it for that list. Outside of that, I think that's it. Is that it? Oh, there is one more thing I wanted to go over. One more thing, and we'll get out of here. I know this is a long show. Mind you, we came on here. I had nothing to go by. Nothing to talk about. But then I found some stuff. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. All right, so check out this. This is kind of interesting. So this is the 2025 NFL Power Rankings. Latest Power Rankings as OTAs approach. You got the Saints at 32. So tell me if you disagree, agree with anything, or you think a team should be better or worse. So far, you got Saints at 32. You agree with that?
Yeah.
I think. All right. Cleveland 31. Giants 30. Titans 29.
Cleveland. I think Cleveland should be moved up a little bit higher.
A little bit higher. So what you mean, the 30th or 29th or
whatever Jacksonville is ranked, they should replace it with Jacksonville.
Okay, so they got the Jets at 28. They got the Colts at 27. Wow, the Panthers 26. I think they'll be better than that.
Yeah,
no,
I think they'll be better. I think.
Wow, that's a little surprising. They got Jacksonville at 25. So you feel like Brown should be in around here somewhere, right?
Yeah. The Jaguars should be 31st. That team is terrible.
I know. I saw a stat the other day. They did not a stat, but they did a comparison with Daniel Jones and him Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence. Holy shit, bro. They're identical. They're identical. Like I'm going to tell you right now. By the way, because this is going to be one of these off seasons where I got to come up with stuff to talk about. So I've been coming up with these like ideas for some, segments. So we're going to be doing, I don't know when, maybe next week. I wanted to do a episode where we do the NFL's biggest hype bust in the draft. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bust, but they're a hype bust. So like, for instance, Trevor Lawrence. Do you think he's a hype bust at this point? Because I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I don't think he's bad. But I definitely feel like he's a hype bust player. So he was hyped up coming out of college, and he's a hype bust. What do you feel about that?
A bust. Well, yeah, I think he's a bust right now. He was hyped up to be a generational player, which that's not his fault. That's 24/7 Sports and On3 because they kept hyping this kid up in high school. He wasn't playing against the best competition in high school. He was not. He was not in the best league in high school. He never won a national championship. Yes, he won some state championships, but he wasn't even playing the best classification in Georgia. And he was this generational prospect, went to Clemson in an easy conference. Yes, they won the national championship, not because of Trevor Lawrence, because remember the year prior, they lost to Bama in the semifinal game with a quarterback that is not playing football anymore. So, to me, they hyped him up a little bit too much. Yes, he was a great college quarterback. He wasn't generational. He was not even a generational prospect because he didn't have the strongest arm. He wasn't the most mobile. He was just tall. He was 6'5". 220 pounds. He was a very, very good prospect that had the making of being a potential top quarterback in the league, but he wasn't a generational prospect. And the exact same thing, I'm going to tell you about this right now. Arch Manning is the exact same way. He is not a generational prospect.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that's going to come true as well for him. John saying Kyle Pitts. You know what's going to be interesting about this? I'm going to try to go back as far as I can. Probably not like 60s or anything, but I'm going to probably go back to like maybe even the 80s, let's say mid 80s. And it'll be fun. Like we'll have a lot, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of players that you guys are going to be like, holy shit, you're right. That dude was hyped up coming out of the draft, and he did absolutely, maybe not nothing, but he definitely didn't live up to the hype. And then maybe we'll do a hype hits where, it's the opposite. Players that were hyped up and actually lived up to the hype, because we got to do both. So Kyle Pitts, what do you think? John saying Kyle Pitts.
He was a generational prospect. He wasn't a generational player though, because we've never.
Right. So is he considered a hype bust? He would consider
a hype bust.
Hype. Yeah. So you see, this is going to be fun, Jarek. I should have you. We're going to have you on here. We're going to have you on when we do this, because this is going to be really interesting. Because believe it or not, there's a ton of players that you guys are like, holy shit. Tony Mandarich. Yeah. I forgot about him. Right. That was the offensive lineman, right? The big dude from Michigan State, the steroid guy. I'm pretty sure, right? Or he went to drafted by Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken, and then played for the Colts later on. He actually had an okay career, but definitely not. He definitely didn't either. And Bosworth, I would say, there's probably a hype bust as well. Yeah. So, anyways, that's a whole different show. We'll be here. I don't want to get on that. Well, let's continue this, and then we'll get out of here, Jarek. So right now, yeah. Okay. What were we saying?
I said, do we do Hard Knocks?
Oh my God, no, we didn't. So we'll talk about Hard Knocks after this, and then we'll get out of here. Pittsburgh at 24. You agree with this? You agree with this? 24 through, you got 23 Dallas, 22nd Seattle, Raiders 21st. Are you good with this kind of where they're at on here?
I think the Cowboys should be moved up. I think they should move up.
So a little bit better than 23. So
yeah, I think top 15. I think the Cowboys are a top 15 team right now.
So they're saying, let's see what they say real quick why they're 23rd. Dak Prescott returning to form and being able to throw to both Pickens and CeeDee Lamb could actually make for an elite offense, and the defense could just be average. Dallas might not be a bad team. However, that is asking a lot of the team, and until they prove they can compete, they'll come in the low. They'll come in this low in our power ranking. So I guess they're saying the defense is could be the problem that's going on right now in Dallas. We'll see. So here's the next part of the list: 20 for the Bears, Dolphins 19, Patriots ahead of the Dolphins at 18, Cardinals at 17. What do you think?
Yeah, the Dolphins. The
Jared, go for it.
That high based off of what? Like, what are you basing this off of? I mean, the Patriots, yes, they had a good draft, but we don't know what these players are going to end up looking like. And then
that's true.
For agency, yeah, they spent a lot of money on players that they're not top 10 in their position. Milton Williams was a really, really good rotational player for the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line. We don't know what he is as a full-time starter. Remember, the Patriots 2 years ago had the most money. They spent it all. People thought they were top 15. What happened? They sucked. They just did it again. So we got to stop. Right. We don't know what Drake May is. Those receivers, we don't know what those receivers are going to look like. We have no idea if the offensive line is going to get the improvement because a lot of young guys on the offensive line. Defensively, I mean, yeah, I think their defense will be better. I absolutely believe their defense will be better. But they're not better than the Dolphins. They're not. That's
I'm
problem.
with you. I think I'm with you a little bit on here. I think here's my problem with the Dolphins. They got a lot going on, right? They got a lot going on, meaning the Hill situation, the Ramsey situation. I don't believe in their coach. I think there's things going on inside the building as well. So that has to play a little factor, but I'm with you. I think they have better talent right now overall than the Patriots. My thing is with them is also Tua. Can Tua stay healthy, right? It's a thing that I've been saying, right? And it's a toss-up. It's a flip of a coin when it comes to Tua. I don't think Tua's a terrible quarterback either. I know a lot of people will get on me with that. I think Tua is, and when healthy, he's a decent quarterback, but that's the problem when healthy. And like I said, man, I also feel like Mike McDaniel, I don't think he's a good head coach. I think his system is, I think his defensive coordinators know now how to play his scheme, offensive scheme. His timing offense, I feel like, is not working anymore like it once did. So we'll see. But you're right. The Patriots have a lot to prove. They got a new head coach, second-year quarterback, which second-year quarterbacks can have sophomore slumps, right? So we'll see. I'm with you there. I think the Dolphins, because of, they just have more talent as far as players right now on their team. That's why I would say they are a little bit better. But I do think the Patriots are doing it right, and I think they will be eventually better or raise up, in the East past the Dolphins and the Jets as well. You know what I mean? So that's where I stand with that. But you're right. Like I wouldn't necessarily put them. I would definitely think the Dolphins are going to be a little bit better. But once again, the Dolphins are a lot going on right now. But I will say this: they had a decent draft. I'm going to give them credit. I thought their draft was pretty good. Cardinals 17. Okay, so here's the next wave of the list: Minnesota 16, Falcons 15, Bengals 14, 49ers 13. You agree with that, or you think a team should be higher or lower in the rankings here?
I'm fine with it.
You're fine with it? Okay. We're getting on the top 10 almost. Tampa 12, Houston 11, Green Bay at 10, Denver at 9. Anything there that you would switch around?
Wait, read that again.
Tampa 12,
Tampa 12,
Texans 11, Packers at 10, Denver at 9.
I'm good with it. Go with it, Kyle.
Denver at 9. I would think Green Bay. I would have Green Bay a little bit ahead of them at 9. I would probably flip it there. I think Green Bay is a team that could be. I think the Lions. I think that division itself is going to be rough. I don't even know. I'm not with the Chargers either. I don't like that either. I think I don't know. But anyways, 8 Chargers, Rams 7, Chiefs 6, Commanders 5. I don't know, man. What do you think? The Chargers at 8, top 10?
I don't think the Commanders are a top 5 team, and I think this is the problem with hype.
I don't either.
Like
their
roster isn't it's just not. It's not that good. The rosters I thought got the roster. The Commanders, the reason why they were in the position that they were was because of Jaden Daniels, right? Also because the NFC sucks. Like, let's just be real. Right. The NFC is nowhere near the AFC. I wish that we played in that damn conference. Otherwise, we would have been to a couple of championships despite how crappy Sean McDermott's defense has been. We still would have been there. I think the North will get stronger because of the Rams. I think the Rams are a team that's primed to potentially make it to a championship, to make it to the Super Bowl. But no, they're not a top 5 team. I don't agree with that either. And I think the Chiefs. Come on, man, you can't. What are we doing here? Like, we know Kansas City. Like Kansas City, we all know what they're going to do. They're probably going to play in another conference championship. We'll see them again. Like I wouldn't even have the Chargers in the top 10. To be honest with you, I wouldn't. I'd have to redo this list and restart. I might even do that with Mikey, redo this list, because I don't think the Chargers, to me, in my opinion, look, I think they got better, obviously, with Harbaugh, but they still fail. They still make some boneheaded. I don't know. The Chargers they still did some shitty.
they still had some shitty games last year, even with Jim Harbaugh. They had letdowns. That I don't know. I just feel like the Chargers, for some reason, are that team that's always hyped up as a, this playoff team potential, gets this, and they always have letdowns, always. And I think Washington, I like them, but no way top 5, bro. I don't, no way. 4 Baltimore, 3 Lions, 2 Buffalo, and 1 Eagles. So what do you feel? You feel that's fair? You feel they're the second best team?
The Ravens or oh no.
They got the Ravens at 4, the Lions at 3, Bills at 2, and Eagles, the Super Bowl champions, at 1.
I think the Buffalo Bills. I think we're good. I wouldn't really.
You think that's fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. The Ravens. I would have the Ravens, and I would switch them with Detroit. You can make it a great argument that the Ravens should be number 1. You can make a great argument. But I would replace them with Detroit. Because Detroit, you got questions, bro. Like, they lost their entire coaching staff.
Yes. And they have a tough schedule, bro.
Yeah, they're playing a first place schedule.
Yeah.
They got the players. They got a great.
They do.
Line still great. J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Sam Porta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery. I don't believe in Jared Goff, though. That's the problem. I don't.
I don't either.
And
I think they're with Goff. I think they're just. It's any time now, man. He's an out, bro. You know how many? There's not many guys like that, like pure pocket passing, non-mobile quarterback. And I will say this to the Lions: they have a great offensive line, and it really that's buying Goff time. And in a league that's gone away from traditional pocket, you know what I mean? Pocket passers, like it
can only take you so far, man. Like
exactly. That's the problem.
Can only take you so far. Like, Golf can get you to a championship, but the team's got to be complete. It's very similar to the Eagles, and even then, Jalen Hurts, like, he threw for less than 3,000 yards. One thing Jalen Hurts can do is that whenever you need him to show up, he's gonna show up. To make clutch plays. I can't say that about Jared Goff. I can't.
No, I can't. And when he's under duress, like if the offensive line doesn't show up or they go against a better defense that can actually get to him, he makes some bad decisions.
Bad decisions, yeah.
Bad decisions. Turnover machine. Even when he decides to take off, he's loose with the ball, fumbles. Like, those are the things I don't like. But if he's protected, he's dangerous. He's a really good arm, like, no doubt about it. But outside of that, man, you put some pressure on him, boy, he makes some poor decisions. I mean, that playoff game against Washington, he was terrible decisions he was making. But yeah, I would say this list is fine. Detroit, listen, you have, because of the talent, because of the people they have, they are a top 5 team. I don't know if they're 3, but they're around there. I want to put Baltimore 1 because, once again, I'll say this about Baltimore. They have the quarterback. I like Lamar. Obviously, Derrick Henry's a beast. The defense is always, pretty solid for them. Great coaching. But the playoffs, they tend to, kind of like the Bills, right? In big games, they don't always show up, right? And they make some crucial mistakes. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily rank them 1. I would say you have to put Philly at 1. They are the Super Bowl champions. I will always give whatever team won a Super Bowl, unless they lost their quarterback, I will always put them number 1 because you have to beat the Super Bowl champion. So Philly for me is 1. Buffalo at 2 is fine. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you got Josh Allen, he is the MVP. But I could also see the argument with maybe the Lions or the Ravens at 2. Like, I could see that. I could see that too. But we've beaten the Ravens in the playoffs twice. So, you know what I mean? Like, regardless of who they had or they were missing, you know what I mean? But we're going by rankings. We're not going by playoffs, right? We're going on rankings, power rankings. So, I agree. If you're,
it's close.
They're probably ahead. It's close. Yeah.
We have a better offensive line. They got a better receiving core. They got to. I mean, our running games are like damn near like yes, obviously Lamar and Derrick Henry. Those two dudes are insane, but they don't got the depth at running back. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say that because they got Justice.
I think it's close. I think it's really close. It is. You know what? You know what the factor is? Maybe
defense.
Their defense and their coaching. Obviously their coaching's a Super Bowl winning coach. So.
And
you have to give them the nod.
Harbaugh would make some just dumbass decisions, man. Like this man, he would just make some terrible coaching decisions in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Tournament. They're close, man. Like they're very, very close.
It is. I don't hate that list. I would say a couple teams should be moved up and down. A couple, like the Commanders, whatever. So let's get to the last thing of the day, of the night. 2 hours and 45 minutes. This has been a long podcast, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. The Hard Knocks. Jarek, I don't know if you recall me talking about this, but I've been talking about this for the last, I think, 3 seasons, that I've been telling everybody. The Buffalo Bills, in time, will be on Hard Knocks. Matter of fact, every team in time will be on Hard Knocks because the NFL is pushing their product like crazy. That's why every team has to do an international game, and every team's going to have to do a Hard Knocks in time because they're pushing their product to different audiences, different fans, different to everybody, all ages. It don't matter. And what's a better way to do it? Hard Knocks. Also, they have an in-season Hard Knocks now that they started, 2-3 years ago. This is the NFL. It's marketing. It's a smart thing. Why the Buffalo Bills now? Perfect timing. Josh Allen coming off MVP year last season at the stadium, maybe. Right? The younger, the draft, the younger defensive players. You got Trey White coming back. You got Brandon Beane blowing up on the media. They're going to dive into that. They are. So there's a little bit of stories everywhere right now. Perfect timing for them. But I knew this was coming. I told you guys this was going to happen. Because remember, back then, Hard Knocks usually was just bad teams, the shitty teams, right? The garbagey teams. But I think like 2 or 3 years ago, they changed the rules, Jarek, on how Hard Knocks is, like what teams are qualified to make Hard Knocks. And that's why the Buffalo Bills qualify, because I feel like I forgot what the rule change was. But once again, this is a marketing thing. I don't hate it. I mean, as a content creator, this is great for me because I'm going to be able to watch it and I'm going to be able to react to it. And we're going to talk about it and all the stories they got going behind the scenes, which we won't. Let's be real. They know they're being taped. They know they're being filmed. There's not going to be. Not everything's going to be shown, right? Let's be real here with that too. But I don't hate it. At the same time, I don't hate it. It gives me something to, because I haven't watched Hard Knocks probably since the Jets one. It's been years, bro. Because
that was the last one.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. The Rex he was like, "Go eat your fucking food" or whatever. Like outside of that, I don't really care. I'll be honest with you, I don't care what the Colts do or whoever the fuck the teams are. Like, I just don't. But I like it. I'm not going to hate on it. I think it's cool. It brings some more excitement to the Bills. I don't think it's going to hurt the team. You know what I mean? By putting cameras in there, it's not going to we're a veteran team, But go ahead. What's your thoughts on it?
If you can't make it to camp, which a lot of people they can't, they're not going to drive all the way down to Rochester or to watch the team practice. Like you can just now see it every week.
Yeah.
Just for about like an hour, you can just see what the team is doing during camp, see how these things these camp settings are. So
yeah.
It may push more people to go to camp, honestly, in terms of money.
Yeah.
They push more people to go to camp just so they can see the cameras and see if they can try to get a heart.
Exactly. So John, that's my point. It's not forced, but just like international games. And that's why if anyone's been paying attention to me, which I'm sure most people shut their ear mute me, put it on mute when I talk, because I talk a long time sometimes and I get going. But I've talked about this and I've said this a lot, that the NFL is going to be doing this in a way forcing. Yes, it's forced that teams are going to have no choice but to play international games, do these Hard Knocks seasons or videos, whatever, these shows. It's a business. At the end of the day, it's a business. And there's a reason why the NFL right now is top dog. They know marketing. They know what's up. Why do you think they're going to Germany and Brazil and all these funky countries now? They're pushing their product. Right? It's not because we're never going to have an NFL team. And come on, like maybe, but not anytime soon. I'm not watching it if they ever did. But my point is they're pushing the product in different countries to sell. It's all about money. Hard Knocks paying. It's all money, and it's cool. And I have no problem with it. I'll be honest with you. But yes, do I think McDermott, do I think the Bills wanted this? Probably not. Right? I don't see McDermott, wanting cameras, as that. He just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that wants that. Rex Ryan, sure. Rex Ryan, I see Rex Ryan wanting that, but it is what it is. But I would say, like I said, I don't think this is going to be a distraction. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be interesting. And guys, off seasons are brutal. They're tough to get by. So enjoy it. And like Jarek said, there's not a lot. You don't get to see a lot of this unless you're going to the camps, unless you're getting your ticket to St. John Fisher. You're missing out on a lot of this stuff, right? And even if you go there, you're not really seeing everything. The cameras are right there on the field, so you're going to see a lot of talk inside the building, outside the building. It's fun. I have no problem with it. I think it's going to be pretty cool, man. I'm excited for it. Now if we were a shitty team, that would kind of suck. Right? Right? Like how they used to be. If you're a shit team, you're on Hard Knocks. But that's not the way it works anymore. Cook will be the main sub. And you're right. That's a great point, Kevin. That's going to be talked about, right? The James Cook contracts, and it's all going to be fun. It's all going to be fun. They're going to be talking about the Brandon Bean blow up. They're going to be talking about certain things. The MVP, Josh Allen, all that stuff. All it'll be interesting, but once again, man, I don't think it's a distraction. I don't think it's going to hurt our team by any anything like that. Because the NBA is killing them in viewership. NBA killing NFL? No, I don't think so.
The NBA would never ever surpass the NFL.
They're not even on their. Yeah, they're not even on there.
There is not the only other sport, and the only other sport that will surpass the NFL, and this is short term. This is for ratings. Is the World Cup. The World Cup next year, which we'll always do, because it's an international sport. So every country is going to watch, especially because it's hosted here. That's why the NFL is really doing it. They're trying to push it more to an international audience, was because the NFL and FIFA, it's a partnership. They had a partnership, which is why they started to do more international games, because the NFL watch this year, they're going to start promoting the World Cup. The NFL is going to start doing that a lot more because of the partnership that those two had. That's what I'm saying? They're trying to get more international audience into the NFL. And soccer, that's why they had it here in America and Canada and Mexico, of course, was because they're trying to get more Americans and more Canadians to go out and watch, to try to get more of a product for the Premier League and all these other top leagues, which is going on, including the World Cup.
Yeah, John, they will expand. I think it'll take time, and it won't be. You're not going to see a Germany team playing the Buffalo Bills. You know what I mean? If they do it, maybe it'll be a set
or Canadian teams.
Exactly. It'll be a separate league, possibly like the CFL, but the NFL will own it, right? Like a European league or something. That I could see happening. And maybe that's what they're trying to do. Because I feel like you got to remember, a lot of these countries, they don't really know American football. They know football, which is soccer. So they're, I think the NFL is trying to get these fans that aren't really knowledgeable about the American football game to become fans, to become knowledgeable about the game, to get excited about it. And maybe you're right. In time, they open up a European league or whatever. And I could 100% seeing that, because NFL is all about money, all about money. And you don't think an owner, a billionaire in fucking Germany wants to own a football team? Of course he does, right? If it makes sense, if he's going to profit, make millions and millions, of course he would. That's and the NFL is that big where they could eventually in time, yeah, have that going on for sure. I remember way back in the day, didn't the NFL did have some kind of league way back in the day? Because I remember the only reason I remember this, Jarek, is
NFL.
I don't know if you collected cards. Remember that? And I forget what set it was, but it was football cards, and there was some that were in packs of the NFL Europe player or a card of a team.
Kurt Warner was like one of the Kurt Warner was playing in NFL Europe like a little bit.
Yes, so they could be potentially I could see that, and I'll be honest with you, I would watch that over the UFL thing. I'm not gonna lie. Now, mind you, maybe I need to give it another chance. The whole UFL thing or whatever it's called now. What is it called now? Is it just UFO?
Yeah. UFO.
Okay, because they merged. I know the XFL and UFO. So now it's just the UFO. Okay. Maybe I'll give it another chance, but I just see it doesn't draw my attention. You get what I'm saying? But maybe NFL Europe, if they ever do that, it's possible because you know why I could see more talented players possibly playing overseas rather than playing this UFL, I think. But I could be wrong. I have no idea. We'll see when that time comes. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I think that is
if the NFL ever becomes a global sport, we'll be dead. We'll all be all of us will be dead. We're talking maybe another 100, 200 years before the NFL, and this is if the league if the NFL becomes a global. Soccer is just soccer has a 150-year head start over the NFL. And the NFL has, I mean, soccer just wasn't. It just wasn't popular. It was never popular here in America. Which again, it's actually
right.
You would actually think that soccer would probably be the country that would that we would be the country to that would be our number one sport. But no, it's we took their term and we turned it into something else, and we've ran with it for 150 years. And that's
right.
It is what it is.
And spin. I'm not saying that. So I'm saying I don't think that. Yeah, the travel would be impossible. I'm just saying I could see in time. Or I think that's what their vision is, I believe, because it just doesn't make sense to have these international games. If they're not planning on something putting their sport in over there. I just think it's going to take time. I think that it's a slow process, and they're trying to, like I said, get fans from other countries knowledgeable about the game. And get excited about having a potential league or NFL, a team that plays football over there. Because right now it's, you can see they don't, a lot of the fans over there, they don't really know the game well, and that's understandable. I don't know soccer that well. I played soccer, but I don't know the team. Meaning, I don't know the teams the international. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't follow them, but
they know certain players Travis Kelce because of Taylor Swift. Odell Beckham Jr. That catch was global. Everyone you go.
That's true.
You seen the videos when he was in Germany and when he went to. Everyone knew who he was because of that catch because it went viral. And so this is what the NFL wants. They want more viral players. They want more players that the international brand could resonate and that they know. Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, and he may potentially be the greatest player of all time. They don't know, but the fact is, though, is that most people in America, or most international people, they don't know who Mahomes is. They know who Kelce is, though, because of
right. Yeah, and Kevin, I get your point. I don't know, NBA is known in China and Europe viewership, and the reason why is NFL wasn't always king. NBA has been around a long time, and they were Michael Jordan era. They were pushing over there in Europe and China and. Basketball was up there at that time, you know what I mean? And it's also a global sport. Basketball's everywhere. Football's different. Football's American football. That's why it's called American football. Basketball is everywhere. Every country knows basketball. So it was a lot easier for the NBA to expand. But the reality is NFL over, I don't even know how many for years now have been the cash king. They are the king. They are the king of ratings, money, everything. I'm not saying NBA don't make money or all that, but the NFL is king. They are king in fantasy football, like everything. They are king.
It was funny. Out of the NFL, in terms of generating revenue, they make the most money out of any sport in the world. They're the most profitable sports organization on the planet. But
Right.
international people, they don't know what they may know certain players. They don't know the teams. They don't know the culture.
Exactly.
They don't even know why we even call it football. They don't know the stadium. Like they don't know that people say like, oh, like why is the World Cup in America? Like it's too expensive. Well, the reason why it's held in the reason why these huge international events like the Copa America and the World Cup keeps getting hosted here because we got the most stadiums. We got stadiums that can hold 50, 60,000 people. Our college stadiums, our college facilities like no one touches us in terms of marketing value, in terms of stadiums, in terms of presentation. We are the best. And
I agree.
In terms of
Sean saying, are you saying Reed Ferguson isn't a household name overseas? Yeah, I would say no. I would say he's not a household name overseas. I don't think there's a lot of Reed Ferguson jerseys being sold in Germany, but you never know. But anyways, guys, it's been 3 fucking hours and we are done. This has been a fun show, a great show. Matter of fact, I didn't even get to everything we wanted had planned. We didn't talk about the Kaiir Elam. I mean, we can really quick go over the Kaiir. What's your thoughts on Kaiir Elam before we get out of here? Do you think that was a big jab at McDermott? What he said?
It was. And listen, I don't blame him, man. Like, listen, Kaiir Elam, he didn't go through the best situation, whether it was, I don't know. Again, I don't know how it's gone down. I've tried to talk to people about it. They don't know. Like, whatever the situation was, it didn't work out. I didn't think Elam had the fair shake here. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that they weren't patient. He was just unlucky that Christian Benford was in the same draft class with him because you have this one guy as a rookie who's excelling, and then you have the other guy who's just like he clearly needs time to develop because he wasn't ready. And Benford was the guy, and they never looked back. And so Elam didn't.
I agree.
He didn't really develop properly. So listen, I hope he succeeds in Dallas. I really do because he's a good kid. He's stuck around here. He actually wanted, believe it or not, he didn't demand a trade. He actually said that he still wanted to be a Bill, which I don't know if that's true or not, but he just didn't, it is what it is. It happens. And so I wish him nothing but the best.
Did you hear this? We'll play this real quick and we'll get out of here. This is Jeremy and the Joe show. This is Sal talking. I don't know if you heard this, but we'll play it real quick and we'll get out of here.
I want to read you a quote from former Buffalo Bills defensive back Kaiir Elam, who is now on the Dallas Cowboys.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me prepare myself. I just saw George Pickens of the Dallas Cowboys say it's nice to be part of a different culture now. Oh. And the thought was he's throwing shots at Pittsburgh.
Sure.
So, all right.
This is very eerily reminiscent of former Sabres players who go to other markets.
I thought Elam, right when he left, said nice things like, I'm thankful. It was good. It didn't work out. What do we got? What do we got now?
He didn't say anything bad, but there's clearly some undertones here.
Okay.
This is courtesy of DallasCowboys.com, the Dallas Cowboys website, picked up by Pro Football Talk, which is where I found it. Quote, I feel like the energy here is something I've never been a part of. I love the enthusiasm. And also, I would just say the energy from the coaching staff, they actually make you feel like they care. And that's something that's very exciting. Okay, I'm going to roll my eyes at this. This is a guy that it didn't work out here in Buffalo. He went to he got on the field. Things didn't go well when he was out in the field. But I want people to also understand context here. There was a lot of talk about, but when you hear coaching staff and him say that, okay, there was a lot of talk and thoughts about Kaiir Elam not getting along or headbutting with John Butler, who was his position
coach.
One of his position coaches.
Who did leave last year?
Yes, when he didn't get the defensive coordinator's job. I'm not on bad terms.
Sure.
He said, hey, I wanted that job. I didn't get it. I got to spread my wings. I want to be a DC. He went to Nebraska and became their DC, actually.
But there was a lot of belief that it was Elam and Butler that did not get along.
There was a lot of that was going on. And when you talk to Kaiir Elam about John Butler, you kind of got that sense. When you talk to John Butler about Kaiir Elam, you kind of get that sense. They never say anything bad about each other.
Yeah.
But for Kaiir Elam to come out and say the energy from the coaching staff, they actually make you feel like they care, and that's something very exciting. I think he's specifically maybe referencing one coach who maybe he didn't see eye to eye with.
And that one coach, Sean McDermott. Can we just be honest here? It's Sean McDermott. Let's be real. Sean
jumped out like McDermott, and they were positional coaches that he just did not get along with.
I agree, but McDermott is probably the biggest target of that. Right. I would feel because McDermott. Listen, he was the number one draft pick. McDermott ultimately, it's his scheme. He's the one that makes the decision. He's the one that ultimately benched him and made him inactive many, many games. There for sure is, I'm sure Kaiir Elam wants to prove that he made a terrible decision in making him inactive and not giving him more opportunity. And listen, I'm going to be watching his career in Dallas and wherever he goes. But I will say this, if he doesn't make it in Dallas, probably not going to make it. But I am interested to see where what happens with Kaiir Elam. Because this is, for me, this is an opportunity for Kaiir Elam. You have a fresh start. And who cares what happened in the past? All that you have a fresh start, right? You can now make a name for yourself if you feel that this is a scheme for you, that you're happy with these coaches believe in you now, whatever all the shit he just said, right? Like he feels the good energy now, because that's basically what he's saying. Good energy, good, he feels, like they want him there, whatever he's going with when he's saying that. But this is it for him, right? So we'll see, but it could not backfire on him, but if he doesn't make it in Dallas, then he'll just wind up being one of those players that just, I want to say bust, because I always feel like first round picks have to be like top 15 to be a bust, in my opinion. But it is what it is. Everyone has an opinion on what a bust is. He was a late first round pick. I don't know if he was a bad draft pick, I would consider. I don't think he's a bust because he wasn't the best corner coming out of the draft. You know what I mean? We didn't trade up in the top 10 and get him. So it is what it is. It would just wind up being a bad pick that they should have moved on from 2 seasons ago. They should have. Like, you know what I mean? Like for me, McDermott should have just been like, yo, Brandon Beane, I fucked up. We fucked up. This isn't the guy. He won't fit the scheme. He's not going to fit the scheme. Let's do this kid a favor. Let's ship him out of here. Let's get what we can. And everybody's happy. But they didn't do that. They waited and waited. And they probably hurt this kid's confidence. I know they did. I remember Kaiir Elam talking about it. I think it was last year when he brought up that his confidence was shot and now he's getting it back, blah, blah, blah. And of course, you got beat out by a 6-rounder. You're inactive. You're a healthy scratch for 2 straight seasons. So this is a fresh start. We'll see what happens, man. But anyways, that was it. Anything else? Any last words that were 3 hours and 10 minutes in?
No.
That's it. We are done, folks. This was a fun show, though. It was fun. We talked about so much, Jarek. I appreciate you rocking with me for 3 hours. I appreciate everybody in the chat tonight that stuck around for 3 fucking hours. Spin, John, Kevin. Bro, you guys are super troopers, man. I don't know how you do it. Weston.
One of the shortest shows, man.
Yeah, dude, yeah. I'm like, bro, I'll probably be out of here in an hour. Nope. Anyways, 3 more hours. I dare you. Nah, I'm good. We'll be back next week. Mikey will be back next week, actually, on Friday night. Friday night lights at 9 p.m. Me and Mikey look for us. Jarek, where can they find you?
Jant Sports, or Jant 716 on Instagram, because I never plug them Instagram, but if you want to follow me on Instagram or on X, as they call it, Jant 716 the exact same way, especially if you want to hear me in spaces. We got to try to get the Bill spaces back going. So I've been doing a lot more of that.
I've noticed that on X. Yeah, I noticed that.
It's fun conversations, especially debating Jets fans and Dolphins fans. Those are the most fun. So yeah, Jant 716 on X, Jant 716 on Instagram, and then Jant Sports on YouTube. Of course, I gotta try to get back going, man. But again, I hate this part of the season. I hate it. But
It's so brutal. It's
so
so brutal. It is what it is, like you said. All right, guys, man. I appreciate everybody rock with us. Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it now. Y'all have a great night. Bills Mafia, love you. As always, go Bills. We're out of here. Peace.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.